hope so.
We're live now.
I can repeat it. I could act surprised.
Yeah. We'll get another take.
Alright, yeah. Oh my, whoa, look at that. Buy
We're
one
getting
new
paid
sub,
for
get
that,
3
I
months of
hope.
Discord Nitro, whoa.
Wow, that's crazy.
What a good deal.
Think of the value.
I'm thinking of it right now.
You know, I have Discord Nitro and I don't actually know what you get with it.
Great. Sounds like
You
a
get
good use of
those-
money.
Fancy profile pictures have like movement on them and stuff.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
I'm sure there's other stuff you get too, but I don't know what.
Doesn't just
Boost
make you
your
go faster.
servers? I don't know what that does.
Makes your servers boosted.
Guys, it's podcast time.
I'm about to say, I'm sure there's some
Podcast
features that I'm like using that if I didn't have the Nitro, I'd be like, oh, where's that feature?
The one thing I know is that streaming's limited to 720/30 if you don't have Nitro.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you, 1440p 60, the choppiest I've ever seen a stream. Like, I cannot stream at that. I have to go down to 1080 to actually stream it.
It's good thing you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, we're live. Audio's working. People can hear us in the world potentially.
Cool.
Love it.
We haven't podcasted in a few weeks, and also Aaron's still not here.
So
Server
that was
almost
gonna be
died
a
at the same
banger.
time. I mean, it's
Yeah, everyone's
a lot.
sick and dying. Oh,
server-
it's just good to be here.
The server that runs a lot of the tech that we're using now was dead for like over a day.
Over a whole
It's
day.
tragic.
I know,
it's
right?
crazy.
What happened to it?
It the water cooler died on it, so it pegged out at like 100 degrees Celsius and started flashing critical numbers at me, and I was freaked out and turned it off.
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, it's reasonable.
Wow, so it's your fault that it was down.
Yeah, I
Could've
could have just left
on.
it. I could have just left it on and hoped it didn't die or catch on fire.
Yeah.
But I opted to turn it off until I had time to go to Micro Center and pick up a new water cooler.
That's why you shouldn't water cool your servers.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? You could have just put a fan next to it, right?
I would say, I don't know what to tell you. I've got 6 fans in mine, and guess what's still running?
Yeah.
Yeah, got him.
If I had an air cooler on it, it probably wouldn't have died. I mean,
I can
How
also
bad would
hear
it be-
the server from 2 floors up in my house, but you know,
how bad would the CPU get if the fan on like the air cooler attached to the CPU died, but like the rest of the fans in the system were fine?
Bad.
it'd get pretty
It's probably still bad
Yeah.
because that's like the equivalent of what happened.
Hmm.
It's like
I'm
the
sure
pump
that would
stopped
still be
working.
bad. It may not be 100 degrees Celsius bad, but it probably gets up there.
It's like still air moving in the case, I guess, sort
I
of.
thought it would be cooler.
Cooler
guess.
than if
Mhm.
the fan was working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some-
bad. See, the
myth
fan spins,
perpetuated
which
by-
is friction, which generates heat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Plus, you have to like
Physics.
use power to power the fan, and power heats
Yeah.
things up.
For sure.
That's a good point. I should turn off all the fans.
You know what you really should do? You should like shrink everything down and make it really close to each
Oh.
other.
I was about to make that joke, dang it.
Oh,
Will Arrow
man.
ever not be funny?
No.
Are
Arrow's
they still making that show? Is it still on?
I don't think so.
I
Shame.
believe it is
Arrow?
concluded.
No,
Yeah.
It concluded, yeah.
Too bad.
I could spoil it and tell you
There's
the
some-
ridiculous ending.
Oh gosh, please do actually.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
Spoiler
spoilers from
alert
here
for
on
all
out.
viewers.
Yeah, spoiler for the show Arrow.
At one point, there's like this universal god being that comes to Arrow and is like, we're gonna take Kara and Flash because like their lives need to be sacrificed in order to save the universe. And he basically made a deal with him. It's like, I will come with you, and you can take my life if you spare them. And so he just like leaves the show at one point. And it goes to the future, and it's his daughter that's like the Arrow now, and there's like it's just dystopia, and it's like real bad. So it's like the Canaries are fighting back against like big government and all that stuff. And then
Wow.
there's like these dark seer looking things that come to try to kill the Earth. And like you actually see a scene of like a different Earth getting like completely eaten by it at one point. and it gets to like our universe Earth, like the primary Earth, right? And you have all the superheroes fighting back, but then they get like transported to where Arrow was, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're still alive!" And he's like, "Yes, but I have to sacrifice myself. This is a deal." And he basically just like dies, all while like Lex somehow it like comes in the show and like takes Superman's powers and like goes and kills all of the Clarks off. Like, at one point, like, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Doesn't he come back as a god in the Flash show or something?
Lex or
Oliver.
Anyone.
yeah, I mean that's part of it because it's like it was a crossover that they actually did the whole like, oh, Arrow's back and like this is the ending, and that's how they closed Arrow down. They actually brought Smallville's Clark Kent in at one point, and he had like given up his powers, and
I've seen that scene.
yeah, which I thought that was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
if you watched
Lex is-
Smallville back in the day, then you know.
Yeah, Lex is
Cool
going
nod
around
to those
stealing
fans.
Superman's powers, and he gets to
Mhm.
Smallville Clark, and Clark just punches him in the face.
Yeah,
He's like,
He's
"Why
like,
aren't you
you
affected
know-
by kryptonite?" It's like, I don't have powers. I'm a farm boy and can punch you.
Wait, so
Wild
you can
stuff.
just choose to give up your Superman powers and you're no longer affected by kryptonite?
yep.
Caleb,
I
come
think
on.
he had to go through more than just choosing to, but
Okay.
effectively, yes.
Yeah.
Watch all
What a universe.
episodes. You just got to watch the entire Smallville show to understand.
Mhm.
Easy.
Oh man, that's a great show. There's like all the Kryptonites that do different things. Red just made him like basically drunk, like inhibition out the window.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Well,
Definitely stuff.
welcome everybody to the forecast episode 205. We are
This
isn't
comparing
the
to a
Arrowcast?
full-time Arrowcast. Yes.
Finally, yes. We've all been waiting for it.
No more video
Gotta get Aaron
games,
out of the
no other
picture.
shows, no other movies. Not talking about
Arrow
tabletop
only.
anymore. Arrow only.
Ooh, we should make like an arrow tabletop. There probably is
Oh,
already
gosh,
one.
there
All those
probably
arrowheads
is.
out there, you know.
No, but in all reality, today we are talking about some huge Pokemon leaks. We've got Destiny Mobile is officially confirmed. Got some anime stuff going on. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us on our social channels, or you can check out our website at wearethehorizon.com, where we have a ton of original content for you to browse through, including our new Pathfinder 2e campaign, Crown and Conquest. Additionally, everything we talk about will be in our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you're using. My name is Alex McCausland.
I'm Ben Diaz.
I'm Caleb Juno.
I'm Chad McCausland.
I'm Jake Fetterkyle.
Great. And we have no Aaron this week again because he is out for months at a time. It
It's
would
in the
seem.
Windy
Too
City,
scared of the
baby.
Arrowcast.
Mhm. Man, wouldn't he be so thrilled to come back and learn we only talk about Arrow now? He's gonna
Yeah.
be so excited.
Yeah, dude. Gonna be like, we're watching Arrow? What do you mean? It's like, yeah, we only react to Arrow now. Like that's
Mhm. Sorry, man. We know it's what you wanted.
clickbait content, you know? Nostalgia.
Mhm.
We have like assigned episodes we have to watch in between casts.
We should do like every episode. We watch an episode of Arrow.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. We'll do like a watch along.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect, just in time for Halloween too.
Is Arrow related to Halloween in some way?
You can dress up as Arrow.
Oh, great.
There's a lot of people with costumes in that show. Makes sense.
See?
There are. Not really good ones, though.
Well, yeah, that just means your costume is easier, right?
I guess that's true.
Do we have a Chad's Community Conversation primer this week, aka CCCP?
We do. This one doesn't have a username though, so you know.
No.
They need to fill that out. I think this one is kind of stemming from something else we're going to talk about on this podcast.
Ooh.
But it says, do you think that mobile gaming has evolved into a true competitor for console and PC gaming, or does it still lag behind?
Oh, man. I mean, are we talking about financially? Because it's
It's
way
way
ahead of
ahead.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
combined.
To clarify,
How is that possible?
to
I
clarify-
just don't understand.
I don't either.
when we say mobile gaming, are we referring to Android and iOS?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
cool.
I think we are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
because
wanted to
otherwise
clarify that.
the Steam
I
Deck
can-
is
yeah.
just
That's why I was asking.
It's just
caught up
PC
to it.
gaming.
The Steam Deck is
Yeah.
mobile gaming, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the other thing that's kind of tricky. I guess it's usually older games that I can play on mobile, right? Like I can play Symphony of the Night on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
The best version of like Final Fantasy Tactics is on my phone.
Yeah.
I guess that is like old games, so technically, literally it has not caught up in that regard.
It does seem like a lot of big names nowadays are also releasing on mobile.
Yeah.
And it kind of went with like all the gacha games.
Yeah, Gotcha's so big right now.
Like,
I feel like it's more like the gacha games are coming to PC now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe 'cause, like Honkai Star Rail
Yeah.
does not look like a mobile game to me, but it is like probably primarily a mobile game if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think those games, Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, and now, why did
Zenless
something
Zone
else?
Zero?
Thank you.
Zenless
Yes,
Zero,
Zenless Zone
yeah.
Zero. I think those really like kind of popularized the move to mobile for like quote unquote real games, where it's like, I guess spoiling the episode a little bit, I don't know if the Destiny news about them coming to mobile happens without Honkai Star Rail and all that other stuff,
Sure.
without their crazy success. I don't know if they would have even bothered with something like that.
Like most of the big battle royales have a mobile version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Call of
That's
Duty,
true.
Fortnite,
I think Fortnite definitely
PUBG.
pushed the FPS genre, which it's not FPS, but you know what I mean, into doing mobile stuff because, it was so successful with that. Call of Duty has it. Yeah, Destiny, man, it's like, this question for me is more like, I just don't like playing games on mobile. So, like, it baffles me that, like, mobile is a medium that people actually, like, play, and also, like, money is spent there. I play, like, pocket chess or something, like, on the plane. Like, it's something easy. It's nothing that has
Chess.
precision to it, or, so, like, I don't know. If I wanted to play, like, an actual game, I would get the Switch Steam Deck, a controller in my hand, which I guess you can hook up controllers to mobile devices now. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
does
it's pretty
work.
much just becoming a handheld console.
Also,
Yeah.
this week I've been playing. Actually, last few weeks I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire on my phone, and then this past week I've been playing a lot of Balatro on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at the
think-
house? Like, what are you doing?
It's like in the living room, just chilling.
I think
Go
really
upstairs.
the mobile games seem to shine in that casual genre of games.
Mhm.
I think really that genre that used to exist on PC has really mostly moved over to mobile. Like I feel like you don't see as many of the like extra like solitaire and like obviously we used to only have computers, so they used to release every game on PC. Now I think a lot of those more simple like casual games just they're not even coming to PC, they're going to mobile directly. I don't think it really compares to the more first person shooters and the more hardcore games, but that's not really what it's going for.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to catching up, I mean, screen space, you're always going to be limited by screen space when it comes to
Mhm.
mobile gaming. And you're always going to be limited by like the size of the hardware. You can fit so much more stuff in a tower than you can in a tiny phone. I mean, as the technology gets better and phones get better, so are PCs going to get better and consoles are going to get better.
Honestly,
It'll never catch up in that regard, I don't think.
Honestly, I think of it almost at this point, it's kind of similar to comparing like a Nintendo console to the rest of the console market. Like Nintendo's always behind on tech, so their games are run worse or look worse, and they don't go for the more like big strategy games, big, shooter games as much. They have their niche and it's lower quality but it's still there. It's still a console. I think mobile games have fill a similar niche.
I know that we have a list that we're actually going to do, but I kind of, looked up top grossing mobile games because I was very curious. This is
Interesting.
ridiculous. The money is ridiculous in these.
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm gonna
man.
do the top 5, but before I do that, do you guys have any ideas on like what could be in the top 5?
Clash of Clans.
Sure.
Genshin Impact.
That's a good guess.
Actually, no.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's
guess
going to be some
Bejeweled.
kind of Bejeweled-like game. I don't know
Or
if it's gonna be Bejeweled
Candy
or
Crush,
not.
Candy
Crush.
Candy Crush is
it,
number
yeah.
2.
Ooh, what about what's the what's that one with where you fling the birds at the pigs?
Angry Birds.
Angry
I
Birds.
don't think so. It'll be on
wonder
there.
if
There's
that
no
one would be.
microtransactions.
That's true, actually. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
That's not even numbered.
You
It's
got
so
your
far
stuff.
down. It's past 46.
Yeah.
So. All right, so we have number 5 is Clash of Clans.
Oh
Wait,
wow, that low.
We forgot Raid Shadow Legends. Is that in
Oh,
there?
Raid
Oh.
Shadow Legends.
Oh
Good
man,
call.
where's
Actually,
Raid? Hold on, let me find that.
I
Raid.
bet Fortnite or Call
It's
of
not even
Duty.
listed.
Oh, Fortnite.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so number 5 is Clash of Clans, like I said, and it's at $10 billion. $10,200 million.
That feels like a crime. That's crazy.
Monster Strike, which I've never heard of, is 11 billion. PUBG Mobile, also
Wow.
11 billion. 11
Really?
billion, 41 million, 11 billion, 21 million is the comparison there. Candy
Huh.
Crush is 12 billion even.
Wow.
And then Honor of Kings / Arena of Valor is 18 billion, 664 million.
Wow.
Which that's
I've
a
never
ton.
even heard of that game.
Right? It's I looked it up and it's a Chinese MOBA, so you know.
Okay, sure.
Chinese League of Legends.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
that is crazy. Pokemon Go only reaches to the top 6.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Genshin's 11. Is there anything else in here that we talked about? I don't think so. Call of Duty
Man.
Mobile is 40.
Wow.
All these mobile games making so much money is why we had that spurt that was terrible where every game had microtransactions for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
PC.
spurt we're
Out of,
currently living in.
I don't know. It was a lot worse at one point in time.
because
Out of
like
curiosity,
Fortnite and Call of Duty are 1.2 and 1.5 billion dollars that they've made on mobile.
Out
Yeah.
of curiosity, is Diablo Immortal on that list?
Let's see, Diablo. Yeah, it's 500 million. Probably
That's it,
'cause
huh?
a lot of Diablo players were like, I ain't playing that.
Yeah.
I feel like it made an absurd amount of money really fast, but maybe it fell off after a bit.
That game continues to be hilarious to me, mostly because they set up the matchmaking for PvP so that it was matching with people of similar, effectively, power levels.
Oh.
There's one particular guy who put literally like tens of thousands of dollars into the game in microtransactions, and he made his character so good that he actually can't play PvP because he's too more powerful than everybody else, so it won't matchmake him with anyone.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's great.
I think he tried to sue them for it because he was like, I give you all this money and I can't play your game.
Wild.
Just
Honestly,
let
a
me
wild-
crush moves.
Yeah, right? Isn't that part of the appeal of putting money into a game like that? Is to go into the PvP and be like, oh yeah, I fucking crush these people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if there's one minuscule good thing they did with Diablo Immortal, it's the fact that they didn't let people do that.
Wild.
All right, so we still don't have Aaron, so we don't have like a game show. So I was kind of thinking about how to fill the void, and we kind of literally just did the thing that I was planning on doing, but slightly differently.
Okay.
Lists are back, baby.
So are we done?
But lists.
are back.
This is the Wikipedia list of best-selling video games.
Oh.
This is just how many units of game is sold, and I was wondering if people could guess like the top 10.
GTA 5.
Oh, easy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Duh.
GTA
have,
5
like,
at
nothing
number
else.
2.
Number
Number
2.
2.
200 million
Number
units
one.
sold.
What the heck?
Am I
This is
correct
not
in
mobile
assuming...
games, right?
Answer that question first.
What was the question? Sorry.
No mobile games, right? This is just PC and
This
console.
this is the. I mean, I guess mobile games could be on here, but nothing.
They're not in the top 5.
I don't see any of those.
are they also paid games only? I'm kind of assuming. Otherwise, free games
Yeah, so
would massively tip
there
it,
is
right?
like kind of an exception in here, but I don't know if it counts or not. But yeah, this is paid mostly.
Mostly. What could be number one?
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
gonna
GTA
take
5.
a
That's
stab.
crazy.
At Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original.
No,
Okay.
that's probably not close.
There's gotta be.
Modern Warfare the original is down the list a ways.
There's gotta be.
30
how
million
much
copies.
is Call of Duty and games like that on there a lot? Was PUBG free or did you have to pay for it?
You
PUBG,
didn't
you
have
had
to
to
pay for
pay.
that.
Okay,
That
PUBG.
could be number one.
PUBG is number 4, 75 million
close.
units.
Okay.
Oh, Minecraft?
Ooh.
Minecraft
Is number 1. There you
Huh.
go.
Yep. Okay.
300 million units sold.
Interesting.
Here,
Wow.
let me,
Do you have to buy Roblox instead of this?
I think it's free.
I think it's free
Yeah.
also. Same goes for Fortnite.
Yeah.
But we have 3 of the top 5 so far.
Yeah, so you got Minecraft,
pretty
Grand
good.
Theft Auto, PUBG, that's at 4. You're missing number 3.
Number 3, huh? Hmm.
Is it another GTA?
No.
GTA 4.
GTA 4.
Is it Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2?
Red Dead Redemption 2 is at number 6.
Ooh, really close though. Okay.
65 million.
Surprised that game sold so well. It's kind of a weird game.
Yeah.
There are some Nintendo things you guys are missing.
Oh, Nintendo things, huh?
Super Mario
Okay.
World.
Not Super Mario World.
Super Mario 64.
No.
Is
Super
Mario
Mario Sunshine.
Odyssey? Did it just sell really well?
No.
I didn't
The
think so.
original Super Mario Brothers, though,
Oh,
fine.
really?
is
Wow.
number 8.
Number 8. I mean, it's been around for a long time. It's a classic.
Oh, I thought you were hinting towards number 3.
Are you
Is
looking
it
at the
One of the
list?
Splatoons is not
Oh,
on
no.
this list, is it?
There's no way Splatoon's
You are
on
looking
this
at-
list.
Splatoon is not here.
Okay,
Thank
good.
fucking God. But is Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild is a ways down the list, but not in the top 10.
Okay. Admittedly, it was single. You know, it's only on Switch,
Oh,
so it's
gonna
not getting.
be Pokemon games.
Oh, that's probably true.
17 for that one.
I don't know which one though.
I pulled up the list and holy crap, there's no way.
Scarlet, Pokemon
Bruh.
Scarlet.
There's one game on here that I think is the most insane thing that could possibly be on this list. But not Pokemon Scarlet. Red, green, blue, yellow. Just outside of the top 10.
Hmm.
Oh, is there another Pokemon higher up that we need to guess, or
No.
no?
Uh,
Okay, that's
But
the
another
highest.
Nintendo game.
There is another
is in the
Nintendo
top
game
5.
in the 3rd position,
Mario
actually.
Kart 8.
Mario Kart
Oh.
8 is number 5.
Huh. Okay, so that's all 5, right?
You're still missing
We
number
got
3.
Super
Fuck.
Smash.
Is number 3 the most ridiculous thing that you're thinking of, Alex?
No, that one I believe. Smash Brothers, not here. So ways down the list, actually.
Is it another Nintendo game?
There is another Nintendo game that's 3rd place.
It's another
Not Mario
Nintendo game.
Party, is it?
No.
Thank
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know that you'll think of it because it's not something that we think of nowadays.
Hmm.
It's
Not something-
it's from the Wii era, if you'll
Wii
believe that.
Sports.
era.
Wii Sports, correct.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
The 3rd
What?
highest selling video game of all time.
Didn't
Wii
Wii
Sports.
Sports come with the
bought
Wii?
Wii's?
I think it did come with the Wii, which maybe is
That
like
doesn't fucking count, then. What?
maybe that's a little
To be
crazy.
fair, I'm surprised that many people bought Wii's.
It was such a phenomenon.
I feel like
Crazy.
there was a Wii in every house I went to.
Yeah.
And then they
Um,
always had that pad because they were like, oh, we're getting
Yeah.
fit with the Wii, the
Mhm.
Wii
Yeah.
pad. Look, we can ski.
7th place is something you guys will never guess.
It's like the name of the
Terraria.
game.
Oh,
Oh.
I was going to guess that before
Oh.
Minecraft, to be honest.
Were you
Mm.
before
Yeah.
Minecraft?
Like before you
Yeah.
thought of Minecraft. Oh.
Terraria is like the Minecraft, like that is
Right.
that is
Mhm.
like second most selling, I guess.
Yeah. That's
Um,
interesting. I didn't realize it was that big.
And
What's
then
the insane one?
there's
Kinda interesting
three.
that Overwatch is here.
Yeah,
Oh.
so Overwatch is tied at number 9 with 2 other games.
Wow.
Then what's it is tied with is crazy.
The Witcher
Demons
3
Fall
Wild Hunt.
Flat?
Oh, good for them.
What did you just say?
Human Fall Flat is, I think, the
Excuse me?
craziest title that could possibly be on this list.
That is tied for 9th in units sold.
It has sold 50 million copies somehow.
What?
Excuse me?
Really?
The game we play once a year.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a game that we are the only people on the planet who know about.
Yes, yes.
That's actually insane. I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
How?
Wow.
How is that possible?
That's honestly wild. I genuinely didn't think anyone except us knew that game existed.
For real. What on earth? That is so weird.
So, yeah, I tried to look up a little bit about why, and I think it's something to do with China again. It's always China.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're having that many people.
Yeah, well, and it also explains why, like I've never seen a stream of Human Fall Flat
Right.
besides us. And it's like, well, yeah, I don't really watch Chinese streamers.
Well, we're trendsetters.
We're trendsetters. Yeah, we're ahead of the curve.
Something I find interesting is Grand Theft Auto 4, Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter World, and Elden Ring are all tied.
Huh.
I would have thought Elden Ring, because of the phenomenon that it came out at, like, literally everybody was talking about it. I would have think it sold more, but
Yeah, well, comparing to Monster Hunter World, it's got the Asian market.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
And Cyberpunk was also hot shit when it first came out before everyone realized it was busted as hell.
I mean, it was one of the most hyped games
Yeah, right?
in existence,
And then
probably.
it had like a resurgence when the DLC came out and they basically fixed the entire game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Still haven't played since then. Been on my list, but got to
It's
it.
good.
Yeah. So I just thought I needed to bring the Human Fall Flat story to everybody.
That is wild, man.
Yeah.
I believe it was
I
this
would
year
never
they hit
guess that.
50 million.
Do you think it's because we play it that it got so popular?
Yeah,
Probably.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
you missed 2 other huge things here, Alex. Nintendogs.
Every child was in the Nintendogs for a while, okay?
I don't know what that
Connect-
is.
Every child on the planet.
It's
It
a,
was. Go
I
ahead.
think it's a Nintendo DS. You take care of a dog, and you can
Mhm.
you breed them and stuff like that. I think.
I don't know about breed them, but you trained them.
Okay.
You use like the stylus to like teach them tricks, and the
Throw them
3D or
balls.
the DS has a a mic as well, so you could like say its name and give it commands. That never seemed to work, but theoretically, that's how it worked.
Yeah. And then there's Connected Ventures, so that's probably also
What?
sold with Xboxes.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
assume so. Can't imagine many people are excited about the Kinect.
I don't know. Did a Kinect come with an Xbox?
I think
At
there was
some
a
point?
while where it was
I think it
bundled.
was bundled, yeah.
Like whatever came before the 1, the 0.
Because wasn't the whole thing that the
Zero.
Kinect had it was a camera, but then it was also voice activation
Mhm.
stuff?
It like tracked your
Mhm.
body and stuff, so you could smack a ball
It was VR before VR.
with your real hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like AR, but not in your vision, just on a 2D screen or something.
It's like Wii, but without the controllers.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So remember when everybody was into motion controls for
Yeah.
one
yeah.
generation?
Well, it's because the Wii sold a million billion
Yeah.
units.
The Wii sold a bunch. Sony was like, all right, let's do that.
Yeah.
The Xbox too.
Good stuff. Speaking of things that Nintendo has done or didn't do,
Uh-oh.
Perfect.
it's get Game Freak to protect their files from hackers. There is a massive still outpouring of information from Game Freak about all sorts of Pokemon things. they have stolen, I'm assuming, what is terabytes of data based on the nickname TerraLeak that is going around.
Boy. No, I think someone named Terra leaked it.
Oh, that makes sense.
I made that up in case that wasn't clear.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's just like a ton of, well, there's like personal data for people that work there, so that's not great.
Yeah, it sucks.
But then there's like full source code for multiple Pokemon games. There's a bunch of like the interesting stuff, I think, is like internal lore stuff that was never meant to be actually published. Like there's a document that people have translated that is like the origin of the Pokemon universe.
Oh.
And like how the god system is set up amongst Pokemon and where humans came from and stuff. There's also some really weird stuff, which like the big memeable one is that there is an entire story written officially by somebody at Game Freak about a group of women that would go torture Slaykoths. And then one day, one of them was alone, and a Typhlosion or something like that raped her, and then she had a hybrid human Pokemon baby.
What?
Later, and then also the people who usually tortured the Slaykoths found it one day and killed it, and then she was like, "Oh no, that was actually my baby," and then she killed herself.
What?
So,
what
are
we
sure
that? What is
the new
point
Pokemon
of that
game's
first?
gonna be fucking great, huh? Everyone excited now?
Are you sure that
Yes.
wasn't like the leaker just slipping something crazy in there? Like,
Yeah,
And
why the fuck
that's
would
just
that
somebody's
be
fan
an
fiction?
official?
it was in the documents for some reason. I don't
holy
know.
crap.
That's just somebody's fan fiction.
I mean, yes.
They wrote at work.
There's like
Yeah.
high res concept art for like every Pokemon ever. Is that fit like all out there now?
That's cool. That's actually
Yeah, I mean that
that's
seems
just
fine.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's info on like upcoming games and series and movies. Like the apparently the next movie project, animated movie that is meant to be something that tries to pull in lapsed fans that have fallen away from the series. So it's just original 151 Pokemon, and it's supposed to be aimed at like an older audience. So some sort of more mature.
Oh god.
Story.
Is it the slack off one you just
Yeah,
read?
probably.
It's just
Jesus
that
Christ.
adapted.
Yeah,
No.
that was actually just the script. Oh no.
But like one of the criticisms of Pokemon is that like it didn't really grow up with its fans.
Sure.
So
I mean, also,
That-
I'm sure there's a large contingent of fans. I mean, I would honestly still consider myself that, even though I still do more Pokemon than most,
mhm.
where like I would be way more interested in something focused on the 151 than,
Yeah.
you know, whatever fucking generation we're on.
So there's that, and then there's like the next Detective Pikachu movie is in development,
Oh, nice.
the live action one.
Yeah,
and
that
there's
was a cute one. I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
There's like a third companion film that goes with that is talked about. It's just called Game Boy. Right now, at least. But
Interesting.
yeah, info about all that stuff is out there.
Hmm.
There's this Twitter account called Centro Leaks that is just every few minutes, it seems, releasing more information from all these documents.
Jeez.
So one of the cool things I saw was there was like meeting notes from the meeting where they decided to not make Ash the main character of the anime anymore,
Oh.
and like the reasons why they wanted to move away from him to somebody new.
That's right. I forgot they did that.
Who's the main character now?
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, I don't. Good point. Good point. Who gives a shit?
Wow, okay then.
All this reminds me of when I was out disc golfing and I met this group, played with them for a little bit, and I was mentioning playing Pokemon when we were in Sicily, and I had already expressed how old I was when I was over in Sicily, And I was like, yeah, I was playing Pokemon in the car, and they're like, Pokemon Go?
Oh my gosh.
Like, no. Like the actual Pokemon on the Game Boy.
There was in documentation for X and Y, there's mention of Mew 3.
Oh, snap.
That
No
never
way.
actually never happened.
Probably
That's
a good
'cause
thing.
That's so stupid. Lyco is the new protagonist, I think.
Lyco.
Can you just imagine if they went with Mew 3 and then they just never stopped?
Yeah,
and
Mew
just
4,
Mew
Mew
4,
5.
Mew 5.
Hell
yeah.
yes. That'd be so good.
Every Pokemon generation just has another Mew. That'd be sick.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Anyway, there's tons of information to crawl through. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should be like sad about it, I guess, because like
It
evil
sucks that
hackers.
people's information got leaked. Everything
Yeah.
else, like all the information, I could give a shit about a company's plans getting leaked. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like if an employee has to get hurt. Maybe, hopefully nothing unseemly happens to them, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I also feel like with Pokemon, like they're so big that even if their plans get released, it's not going to hurt them. Like,
No.
Right.
they'll be fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
They could also just do something else. Oh, our plans got leaked. Let's think of something else. Like,
Yeah,
they can
right.
do it on the fly. Like, no problem. But yeah, the employee data is not not good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, at least in this main Twitter account that's been covering all of it, I haven't seen any of the like personal information. They're just covering Pokemon stuff. So.
Right, sure. I mean,
It'd
what
be
would the
crazy
coverage of the
to-
employee information?
Or like,
They
here's the
show it.
address of
Yeah,
the
he
guy
lives at
that
1234 Real Street.
made your
Here's the
favorite video
SSN.
game.
Here's the credit card information.
Yeah. Top
If you were
10
mad about
SSNs.
this Pokemon game, this is the guy that was in
Go
charge
get
of
this
it.
guy. Oh my god.
Gotta catch them all. Here you go. All the SSNs.
Gosh. In other news, Steam is no longer selling video games. They're just selling digital licenses, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is pretty small, but I thought it was interesting. So now in Steam, if you buy something, it specifies that it's a license for a digital product and not, a game. They think this is coming about because there's a new law in California coming out next year
Mhm.
that will require digital storefronts to specify if you're buying a license for something or an actual product. So I think we're going to end up seeing a lot more of this elsewhere as well
Yeah.
going forward.
right.
There's probably places who have already missed it.
Super small
Yeah.
brain question. Is this also coming off the back of like Ubisoft basically saying that we don't own anything? And so does this mean that like we do own the game, or like
no.
just
No.
saying we're not
This-
owning the game
this
at all?
Not owning it.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
okay,
doesn't
cool.
actually change anything. I think they're just
It
putting
doesn't.
this
Yeah.
disclaimer here.
Yeah,
Just like,
it's
hey,
basically
just-
that.
So California doesn't get mad.
Yeah,
God.
which I
I
think those
do-
laws have started to come into effect because of things like
Like the Ubisoft thing,
the
exactly.
Like the
Ubisoft
crew
thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah.
Stuff just
I mean-
getting
A
removed
a
suddenly.
lot of people were mad because Concord, they were like, yo, like,
Yeah,
I
I
was so
bought this
hyped.
and it's just gone off my account. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. It's interesting, but also it's like business as usual.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Hopefully, though, I mean, this, I feel like this is kind of how it starts. It becomes more visible, and then people are like, hey, isn't that kind of fucked up?
Yeah,
Like, hopefully, public opinion continues to move that way on these things. And eventually we can get to a position where, like, they can't just steal a game out of your inventory,
yeah. I imagine eventually we'll get to a point where they have to specify like times that they support, like a long-term support plan, essentially
Mm,
for digital products that they'll
a
have
roadmap.
to.
Sure. What if the company
Yeah.
goes away though?
I don't know.
I've always heard that Steam has like a kill switch for if Valve went under for some reason, that they would have like a way to release all your games to you to where you could still access them if you had them downloaded or something.
It's a nice
That
idea.
feels like a lot of work.
Like a way to turn off their DRM, essentially.
Right. Weirdly, Steam has always seemed like a relatively customer forward
Yeah.
service.
Man, I mean, you really just gotta cross our fingers that they keep doing that.
yeah.
Not
Like-
being beholden to shareholders will do that, I think.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if anyone else ever worries about this, but like, several years down the road, Gabe retires or
Yeah.
passes away, and then
How does
Somebody
this
else
company
takes over
change?
and
Yeah,
sells
right,
it
the next-
immediately.
right, whoever's in charge next is like, what are we doing? We could be billionaires.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's it, it's over. Probably,
What if the next guy's like, wait, we're supposed to make video games?
Half-Life 3.
And then they like actually make
Or
video
3.
games.
Anything with a 3.
That would be nuts.
Man, did you guys see all the stuff about how like, Half-Life 3 is actually in development? It was like a month or two ago.
I feel like I saw something about that, but I was just like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like we see something about that occasionally.
Mhm.
So
like-
I'll believe it when I see
I
it.
100% am behind the opinion that they cannot release a Half-Life 3 because it will not live up to the hype.
Yeah, probably
What
not.
if it
Like
does,
there's
though.
zero chance that they create a game that actually like meets expectations and everybody's going to dunk on it as soon as it comes out, if it does come out.
It won't be the first Valve game people have dunked on.
What if they?
Remember Artifact?
Yeah,
thing.
they did Artifact.
Yeah, everyone loved it. It's a huge success.
They also did Dota Underlords, which they kind of let die.
Yeah. That one they didn't make from the ground up, though, right? They basically purchased that from somebody who was making it
Yeah, sort of.
and let them kind of continue development, which, what they've done multiple times.
Hmm.
Dota.
What if they like, guys, it's here. Half-Life 3 is finally released, and it's like a Steam page, and it's like, this is Half-Life 3, and you're like, cool, and then you download it, and you launch the game, and it's just Silksong. And you're like, surprise! Silksong's finally out. We hid it behind Half-Life 3, which is not
The
actually
amount
out.
The amount of happy people and raging people that you would have
Yeah, right.
simultaneously on the internet.
I'd be happier than I am upset.
Man.
But I'd still be a little upset.
And then you get to the end and you just play as like a little frog who has to catch fractions with his tongue.
Oh,
Frog fractions
man.
4. Boom.
It was buried inside
Or,
Half-Life
is there
3
a third?
Silksong.
Oh boy.
I think there is a Frog Fractions 3, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow.
3? Yeah, because they did Frog Fractions, and then they did Glitterbitten Grove,
Mhm.
and then they did the Frog Fractions re-release,
Oh.
which had free DLC to put a hat on the frog,
Uh-huh.
Ah.
which actually just completely changes the game.
It's so different.
Or wait, maybe the frog. I think the hat DLC was paid, but it basically added an entirely new game.
Oh, interesting. I never heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
So since we're still somewhat on a Steam thing, even though we've kind of directed towards Frog Fractions, this might be a good time. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I also don't know how actually new like the new Steam family stuff is.
It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty
Pretty
new.
Yeah,
we
that
can
stuff
talk
is
about that.
cool.
We certainly haven't talked about it.
I don't know if
we
we should
haven't.
talk about it because we're gonna like tell people about it, and then it'll get abused like we're doing, and then shut
Is
down.
this abusing or is this intended? Like what?
I feel like it's not intended what we're doing.
To be fair, they don't have any sort of like user agreement related to Steam families.
So, do we want to tell the people what Steam Family Sharing is now?
Go for it.
So basically, this was always one of their beta programs, but the idea is if you are a member of a family, you can basically link your accounts on Steam together so you can all share your games. They recently rolled out like a big update that makes it a lot easier and a lot more user-friendly, but what it means is, let's say you have like 5 random yahoos who all like to play video games a lot. You can just say that you're a family and then you can just share your games.
And it is really intuitively built into the system because all the games just show up in your library. There's specific what do they call them? Shelves? They call them shelves
Yeah.
on
Like
the
copies.
on the
Oh no,
library
that's not what you're
page.
talking about.
There's
No.
shelves on the library page.
Shelves on the library page, or you can like select your Steam Family library and only shows the games that you don't own that other people do that you can play. It also displays how many copies you own.
Yeah.
So say Alex and I both own Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, whatever it's called.
You picked the longest name possible.
Yeah.
I know, I
Example.
really did. And because we both own that, we have 2 licenses for it, and any 2 people who are in the family can play it at one time. It doesn't have to be us 2, it can be anybody. Which I think is really cool.
And
Yeah,
one of the
'cause-
major differences of like the new system is that you can be using your own account as long as you're not using the same license.
Yeah.
So like before, if you were playing any game, nobody could use any license from your account because you were using your account.
Right.
Now is based on the individual license. So I can go play Warhammer 40k Space Marine 1 and somebody else can
I hate
play
you
Warhammer
guys.
40k Space Marine 2 from my account at the same time.
Absolute degenerate behavior.
Interestingly, there's no more like being able to kick somebody off of your license. Like I own Black Myth Wukong, so if Alex wanted to play it and he was playing it, and I was like, oh, I want to get back and play it so I can finish it out. I just have to either wait till he gets off or send him a message to be like, get off of my game so I can play, man.
Whoa.
I can't just kick him off.
Wait, has that happened?
No. But I looked it up because I was curious.
You looked it up? Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird that you can't kick people off because that was the
usually
thing
was like
before.
a 5-minute timer or something like that. Get to a save point and hop off because somebody's launched their game.
Interesting.
I can just like,
However,
if I know what you're going to want to play later, I can just take it hostage.
however,
Just hop it open and walk away.
you can just play in offline mode.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
I was
Offline
wondering
mode
about that
works.
as well. Like,
I think you can even play games that you don't own that are in the library in offline mode,
that's crazy.
which is nuts.
and okay, so this system obviously kicks ass, but I am so scared that Valve is going to be like, you know what? Those idiots at the Horizon told everyone about it, and now everyone's just abusing it. No one's bought a video game in 2 years. We're shutting it down.
They've already specified that there's probably going to be changes in the future to ensure that it stays as they intend it to be used.
Yeah.
What's the intention, man?
The intention is one household.
Okay.
Currently,
so am I going to have
you
to
can't
VPN
share.
into whoever started the family?
Everybody's going to have to be permanently on the Horizon VPN so we can all stay in the family.
Currently, you can't share between regions at all. And I think that's been an issue for a lot of people, even people who are in the same region, and it just doesn't work because of the bugs in the software for that.
If they do
detection.
it like Netflix, then every 30 days you could just VPN across to the, Horizon house.
I'm also pretty sure developers can just opt out of being shareable
Yes, that is also
That's
true.
cool.
if they're actually concerned about
Mhm.
sales or something.
I actually kind of like that
Mm-hmm.
because they don't get abused.
Yeah.
They want the money for their hard work.
I've not run across anything that is opted out though.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been out for like a month, I think.
It's pretty
Yeah.
new, yeah.
I just like listening the Steam family by release date and just seeing games populate because people keep buying or adding games.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that
It's
looks
cool.
interesting. Might play that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool for finding new stuff.
I had a game just like pop up in the library as I was looking at it the other day, like out of the
Yeah.
blue.
You literally, is it when you messaged me?
Oh yeah, it was Metaphor, Refantasio.
Yeah. He just got a message. Did you just buy it? I was like, yeah. What? I'm not being shamed? Like, what's happening?
Alex is just stalking you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was because it was literally like within a minute of me buying it, he messaged me about it. I was like, what the, what's happening?
That reminds me of, I don't know if it still does it, but back in the day when you had Snapchat and you wanted to like message people, if somebody hopped into the chat, like if you had both the SMSs open on either phone, there'd be a little face that appears like at the bottom, and you could click it and it would just call them. And it's the creepiest thing because it's just like, oh, they're looking.
Yeah,
So that's what
jeez.
Alex was doing. He's just peeping.
I'm gonna hop over to some film news, I guess, or some animation news, I should say.
Hey,
Junji
anime
Ito's-
can be films.
Sure,
It's true. This isn't a
I
film.
guess. Junji Ito's Uzumaki is out. Is it fully out yet?
I think episode 3 was last weekend. I'd been watching it. It's pretty good. The real news with it though is that the animation quality dropped so precariously between episode 1 and episode 2. It's a 4-episode series.
Oh.
So the first episode looked great. It was quite enjoyable. And the second episode hit, and the animation quality just fell off a freaking cliff, which was pretty disappointing. I still
That's
liked it well
unfortunate.
enough, but I think I am going to stop watching it and just read it instead, rather than spoiling it with lesser animation quality. Yeah, right? Like, I feel like I would rather just buy it and read it in its original form, and then maybe I'll go back and finish it out. But yeah, it's too bad, because it was really, really good and really, really gorgeous. I think the art and animation was one of the biggest draws at first. So
Yeah,
now
I mean,
that kind of
the art of the original
gone.
is kind of one of the
Yeah.
big draws of it.
It's what Junji Ito's known for, really.
Yeah.
Is his style. So it's a shame. I feel like he can't catch a break when it comes to adaptations of his work, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
It's weird because I feel like this was announced so long ago, and it's only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So
When I heard 4 episodes, I was like, oh, well, that's why it looks like this, because they budgeted for 4
Right.
episodes. So it's 4 episodes, but they're all going to look amazing. To hear that the budget fell apart for just a 4-episode series, it's like, come on. Like, are you being serious?
I don't know how that happens.
I don't either. It's because it's not even like they're long episodes. They're pretty short. They're like normal anime length-ish. I don't know. It's a shame. But the first episode's really good. Spooky season. Check out the first episode.
Yeah.
I guess from the reporting on it, it was like either we release it with lesser animation for the rest of the episodes, or we just like don't do it at all.
Don't do it. Yeah. Yeah, that's
So-
what some people behind the curtain have said. I mean, I'm obviously not blaming those people, but it's just so weird to me that at some point, like up the chain, presumably some producer or something was like, nope, we're not gonna put more money into this.
hmm
Yeah.
Like that somehow it just got budgeted at the wrong number. I don't know. Very strange.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's really weird when small things like that can't make it across the line, and then some other shows come out like Fear and or you know,
Sure.
stuff like that. That's like beautiful all the way through, and it's like 24 episodes long.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like how
Who did
does that
Fear
work?
in?
That's a
The
good question.
Kyoto.
Junji Ito.
Junji Ito did it.
Yeah, it's just him.
Madhouse, man. They
Madhouse,
always
yeah.
have really good animation.
Anyway, we got some Bleach news as well, Chad.
Yeah. So 1,000 Year Blood War is going strong. Actually, funnily enough, just came out. I texted Alex asking why it wasn't on the server, and then within like 10 minutes, I got a notification that it's on the server, and I was like, "Did you do anything?" It's like, "I didn't touch nothing." So that's cool. It's the 20th anniversary of Bleach, so they came out with old school clips, but in the 1,000 Year Blood War animation style, and it was freaking awesome. The animation that they're doing is
It's like
just,
reanimated old scenes.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
yeah, they did
Okay.
like 2 minutes of just like back-to-back clips of like old Bleach, but like in new animation form.
Yeah.
So another piece of news is there's some tidbit of information that came out saying that beyond 1,000 Year Blood War, there's going to be something else. So people are speculating that it'd be a complete revamp of the animation across all of the seasons, but that's a lot of work, and who knows if that's actually going to happen. Alternatively, they're just going to do a movie, so that's probably easier and probably what they're going to be doing, which would be kind of cool to see a Bleach movie. But yeah, I forget if we're in core 2 or 3 right now. There's supposed to be 4 cores to the 1,000 Year Blood War. Google is failing me on trying to figure out where we are there, but it's getting pretty heated right now. Pretty much like it's it's absurd to say this, but if you take Attack on Titan and how many people died in Attack on Titan, I think more people are dying in this, and it's crazy. The blood is way more gruesome than in the past. Like the gore, it's very dark. The style that they go with is just so good. Like even if you don't watch like Bleach, if you look up the Thousand Year Blood like style that they're using, like color palettes and stuff like that, it's just so cool looking. Yeah, so that's that 20th anniversary. Trying to finish out Thousand Year Blood War, and they have like a 4-minute video on YouTube somewhere where they did, like I said, the reanimations. It's like 2 minutes of reanimation and like 2 minutes of like credits, because that's how many people that are involved in that whole thing.
That is really cool.
There's been rumblings for a long time that like Naruto was gonna get remade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I would like to see some of those earlier fights redone in modern animation. That'd be sick.
Was it maybe a fan
Same
project? I
stuff.
thought someone had done that for Naruto before. Like,
Oh, really?
redone old fights. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
getting it confused with something else. Or it was like a fan thing, maybe. I don't know. But I thought I heard something
One
like that.
Piece is also getting remade. And it's not even over yet.
Good.
It's just so cool to see how far animation has progressed, because like literally I just watched, like, sure it wasn't like this year, but I just watched all of Bleach, and like rewatching these clips, it's just like, oh my god, like it's so cool. I don't know, just the shading, the color palettes, just everything that they do is just so insane. That's all I got.
Great.
End of the cast.
Wrap it up.
We got some specific video game news. First thing off the top of the list is the topic of Sombra's rework.
Yeah, if they don't like the character, just take her out of the game. I don't know, guys.
I don't know
Like
how
it-
Spy works, but Sombra doesn't.
I genuinely don't know. It's so vexing. So the most recent change that they made to my girl, took away infinite stealth. Now you only go into stealth for 5 seconds after you throw translocator.
What's the point of her
That's
character?
all the stealth you get. Period.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
What's the point of her character? I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know.
Is she getting reworked because she's like in the top class, like just way too good?
Doubt
People
it.
complain about her all the time because she's like annoying to play against. So I think
Well,
that's
like
the
as
reason
a
why they
healer,
keep on
you just
trying to
start getting
change her.
pecked in the back. Why don't you
Yeah,
stick with your
like
tanks a little bit more? I don't know.
Like supports will complain that she just pops up out of nowhere and kills them and then slips out. But
I mean, that's her character, though. Like,
Uh-huh.
you have to,
what
you
else?
have
She's
to
not doing
account for
anything
it.
else for the team except for trying to kill the supports.
Like put a freaking brig back there. Stop playing Zen
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
It's,
I never really had a problem with it, and I thought her playstyle directly before this rework, when they reworked her the first time, second time, whatever.
I would call that the second time, probably.
Second rework,
At least.
most recent before these changes.
Maybe
I thought her playstyle was really fun.
Yeah, no, I was kind of down on these changes when they first announced them, but they ended up being quite good. Virus, I'm still kind of whatever on, but she still worked pretty well.
I thought she was like really dynamic, like
Yes.
the way you could use translocator all the time to like slip in and out of places. And
Oh, that's the other change they made. So she throws the translocator, she's in stealth for 5 seconds, and translocator has a 7-second cooldown now.
yeah,
Used to be 5, now it's 7.
so you're forced visible for 2 seconds.
And your escape just takes 7 whole ass seconds.
Yeah.
Your escape, which is also your main initiation tool.
Yep. Yeah, it used
You
to be you could just get in because you had stealth.
Yes.
Now
that
you
was-
have to use translocator to get in, and then you die.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would almost make more sense if they just separated the cooldowns, like have a stealth cooldown that's 7 seconds and
kind of like how she was
Lasts
when they
for
first
5.
launched her.
yeah, go back to that, I guess. I don't know.
Ugh.
But having it locked to translocator's cooldown just means you don't have an escape after you go in,
Yeah.
and you're
I'm
squishy.
curious, you said you played it, Alex. How was it?
It feels like you don't have an escape after you go in.
That that makes a lot of sense.
It's really weird. It basically pigeonholes you into not flanking anymore. You can do some off-angle stuff where like you don't try to stealth up behind people. You just kind of take weird angles and try to get people that way. And then when people start noticing where you're at and shooting at you, you translocate out after that. But there's no real
That
good
sounds
way to
pretty
get into the
bad.
back line anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the stealth flanker character to not be able to flank seems kind of like a miss.
She almost feels more like you should just play her like soldier or something. Just like stand with your tank and shoot.
Yeah, I was
She's not
watching.
going to deal nearly as much damage, I feel like, as soldier.
She does.
So
they
they
brought back
gave her.
opportunist.
So if you hack somebody, you do 20% more damage to them, which is quite a bit.
It is. The
can
problem
melt
is
people.
though, you have to hack them.
Yeah.
And that time you spend hacking could be spent shooting.
And that
So it's like
the hack, that's all it does, right? It doesn't turn off stuff anymore?
it
turns off
silences
stuff.
them for
Oh, it does? Okay.
I think a second.
It's 1 second. They
second.
reduced it even more from before.
Yeah.
1 second silence.
Great.
Mhm. They also made her ult more expensive.
Oh man, her ult feels like it takes so long to charge. I was getting like barely 1 EMP
Wild.
in a round.
Yeah.
Especially because you're just like not as effective anymore. So you're not
right.
charging as much.
Yeah, I was watching Fitzy was playing it, Fitzy being a very famous Sombra streamer. Maybe the most famous Sombra streamer? I don't know.
Probably,
but
yeah.
just watching him play, it was like he'd be like, okay, I'm going to go try to get that Widow. He would throw the translocator, and the Widow would just hear him translocate and just wait. Like, just look in that direction and be like, okay, he's going to show up here eventually. And then his stealth would run out, and the Widow would shoot him in the fucking head. And he was like, well, I guess I can't get Widows anymore. I guess I'll just stand behind my Reinhardt.
Yeah.
It was pretty
terrible.
demoralizing. Yeah.
I was watching Flats player and he's like, all right, the actual strat is like translocate somewhere out of sight and not near anybody to where you're going to hear them. And then just like crouch walk behind cover until you can get up on somebody. Then kill them, then translocate away.
I just, man, why on earth would you play her instead of just playing Tracer at this point?
Yeah.
Like, her mobility's just bad now.
I was about to say, Tracer just sounds directly better.
Yeah. She has 3 blinks and rewind.
Yep.
Sombra has translocate once every 7 seconds.
Honestly, her mobility sounds worse than soldiers at this point.
That thought
Yeah.
has crossed my mind. He doesn't run out of sprint.
You also like
a soldier.
you have faster movement while you're cloaked, but since you only have 5 seconds of cloak now, you feel so slow to just try to move around the map.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like exposed and walking slowly, and you have like no HP.
I did hear sort of a conspiracy theory that I almost want to believe. So the new season just started, and the mythic for this season is Widow. So maybe they're like, people need to play Widow and buy the skin, so we're gonna make Sombra really bad.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to play Widow. That's probably not true.
It's a little diabolical. It's
But,
true.
like-
Winston, are they nerfing Winston too?
Mm,
I'll believe it if
I
they're
didn't hear
nerfing
anything
Winston
about
also.
Winston.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Winston's pretty strong. The other thing that they changed, which seems really weird for them to change, was like Ramatra's. So in Ramatra's big mode, he could punch through shields, and that's been like his thing since the beginning. So you could like pick him against like Reinhardt or something. And now he no longer pierces through shields. He just does 2.5 times more damage to shields when he's in that mode. It's very odd.
Yeah, another change that I'm like, I don't really understand why they wanted to do that other than to like ruin the character. Like, just I don't know. Like his fist mode has a very short duration, right? Like it's maybe 5 seconds
something like that.
Something like that.
There's a lot of his character identity though, and like how you played him.
Right, yeah, the idea being like you rotate between being far away and getting up close and using your fists, and since you could punch pierce shields rather, you didn't go into super mode and then, just punch a shield. Yeah, exactly.
Strange.
It's like now it's like what's the point? Why not just play like Roadhog?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
Wild.
Orisa has been really good for the last, half of the previous season, and they didn't nerf her at all. So I just don't know a lot of the choices in this season's patch.
Yeah, it seems like they're just doing stuff.
Where they at with the 6v6 stuff?
I think it's going to be a while.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think when they talked about wanting to try that, they said it was going to take a long time to do the necessary work to do some of that stuff.
Really?
To add another character?
Yeah, I think it's because like when they went to 5v5, they optimized the engine around it because they did a whole new engine.
Uh-huh.
And so if they want to go back to 6v6, they have to like be able to do that on, I think it's theorized that a lot of the problems are like they support legacy systems like the Switch and stuff like that. So if they're going to do it, they has to be able to run on that kind of hardware.
Switch and stuff, sure. Man. Maybe Overwatch will figure its shit out at some point, That'd be cool.
I doubt it.
Kind of do too. Maybe Overwatch 3 will be good when they finally add that PvE stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 months till Marvel, so
Yeah.
Play that instead.
Or literally, Fitzy was playing, and he was like, people were like, "Oh, like, are you mad? Are you upset?" He's like, "Why would I be upset? I have Deadlock I could play. It's fine. It's fine, guys.
Is he
We'll just go
playing
play
Deadlock? That's so funny.
Yeah, he played Sombra for like 2 hours maybe, and then went back to playing Deadlock.
Who's his main in Deadlock? If he's a
He
Sombra main.
plays a lot of
Wraith.
Kelvin.
Oh,
and
that's
Wraith.
a weird pick.
Wraith is the gangster lady,
Wraith.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays her a lot as well.
She feels
Interesting.
like maybe the closest to Sombra.
I would have thought Haze.
Or Haze, yeah.
Haze literally
too.
turns invisible.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Wraith
think,
has like the throw the thing and teleport to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he has been liking Wraith. I think Fitzy usually just goes for like the more annoying characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelvin's got that on lock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Friends
Yeah,
with
interesting.
May main.
He plays a lot of May. That's
Okay.
probably more why Kelvin. He plays Sombra and
Oh,
May,
yeah,
so that's
May.
probably more where Kelvin's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
They just added ranked to that game.
I saw.
Oh, nice.
We gonna grind it up, boys?
And so this is actually an interesting topic because it's not a ranked system where you win a game and you get an X number of points and then whatever point value you're at is what rank you're at. They're doing something where they're like doing some background sorcery crap to figure out like the average skill and where you fit in the distribution curve. And then every week they update people's ranks once a week on Tuesday or something like that.
Huh. Interesting.
So
I feel
weird.
Like I don't mess around with ranked stuff too much anymore, so I don't
Yeah.
really have an opinion on it. Like Overwatch is the only game I ever played ranked, and I was always dog shit. So like, kind of whatever.
I think the reason why people play ranked is to like
Make
see
number
go up.
Yeah.
And like if you can't see that, I don't know how people will take that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already match made based on some
Lane.
sort of rating
Oh,
system,
you're talking
right?
like an
So,
MMR, yeah.
True.
not really. Yeah, it's barely different now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now,
Listening to people that have gotten into ranked, they say the quality of games are better just because people care more, I guess.
it makes sense.
Man, dude.
I mean,
Which I guess
think
it's
the
always the
nice
thing.
thing right now, right? The game's not even freaking out yet. If they're gonna mess around with a kind of unconventional ranked mode,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
now's the time to do it, right? They're super duper popular.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they're
they're
already
not even
messing
out
around
yet.
with a bunch of random stuff like the match made lanes instead of match made games.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we at?
Enough about Overwatch.
Yeah, enough about Overwatch and Deadlock.
Overwatch and other hero shooters. On to Sony Thingy. What was this actually called?
I have
Sony.
literally no idea.
Sony thingy.
State of
Was
play.
it a state of play? Maybe I think it was a state
Was
of play.
it? I don't know. They had a thingy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what most of it was, but the big one I remember is they finally revealed the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotai? Yotai?
I think Yote was
I think it's
there.
got to be
Yote.
Yote.
Okay. Looks fucking sick. Takes place like several hundred years after the first one. Obviously, different main character. It is a girl, and she wields dual blades, like a katana and a wakizashi. It looks like she's got like a cool ghost mask and a big wolf friend.
Yeah, was it implying that you were gonna have a wolf companion with you?
Unclear. I know a lot of people more familiar with Japanese culture and history have looked over all that stuff. And it seems like she is, the theory at least, or maybe this is confirmed, is that she's a member of like an indigenous like group of like that island. And they, like, wolves are like sacred. And that's like one of the reasons they think that, I think. It sounds really cool. I really liked Ghost of Tsushima, so
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm especially excited to see if maybe they make a more interesting main character.
Oh, you didn't like Jen? Come on.
He was
very
for the
boring.
story they told, he was fine. He worked. But like every time someone's like, "Oh my god, like the bad guys, what are we gonna do?" Jen's like, "I got it. Don't worry." And it's like, "Oh, all right, cool." Not really giving me much to go off there, Jin, but you know, cool.
You know, the side characters were a lot more interesting in that game.
Yes. Yeah,
By
he was
far.
definitely like a blank slate type.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, he is just here so we can tell interesting stories around him. Rather than being interesting in his own right.
I wonder if they'll do multiplayer things again, and if they do, if it'll be closer to launch, because I missed
Yeah.
ever being able to do that stuff.
Yeah, I also didn't mess around with it at all. I also don't pay for PlayStation Plus, so...
Yeah, I
I
did
don't know
for a
if I
very
even
short
could've.
time so that I could play that. It was fun, but I don't know if it was worth it.
I was surprised to hear they added a multiplayer mode. That feels like such like an early 2000s move. Like,
Yeah.
take your critically acclaimed single-player game and tack on a multiplayer mode nobody wanted. But, what do I know? The other big thing that came out, and actually I remember this like a second before we started recording, is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. They're
Is that
making
what it's
a new...
called?
Yeah! Yeah!
Okay.
That's the
Good.
title of it.
That
It's-
sounds like something you would make for a title.
Yeah,
That
it
sounds like
does.
something.
It's awesome. It's so good. Yeah, it's so for anyone who doesn't know, the Like a Dragon series was formerly known as the Yakuza series. When they switched names to Like a Dragon, they also switched to a turn-based combat system. This game, though, is going back to how it used to be, where it's a real-time combat system. It's a spin-off game starring one of the series regulars, Goro Majima. He is a crazy man who wears an eye patch. And this time, he washes ashore in Hawaii with no memory of who he is and decides to become a pirate.
As you do when you lose your memory.
It's probably going to be the best game of the year. I don't know
Yeah.
how it can't be. Like, fucking... That just sounds so good.
Goodness.
When does that come out?
February of next year.
Okay.
Really freaking soon. I don't know
Yeah,
how
no
they're
kidding.
cranking these out.
It does seem like there's a new one every time I turn around.
Yeah.
Like, even before the one that came out this year, Infinite Wealth, they released the Gaiden one, the man who erased his name.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like I don't know, that came out of nowhere. That was also a real-time one. They must have like two teams working on these, a real-time one and a turn-based one, right? Like there's no way it's all just one group.
It's possible.
I don't know. I mean, so it seems like people, I don't think they've released one that people have been really down on yet. I mean, I guess I haven't really been familiar with the series for the first 4-ish Yakuza games, but
Yeah.
they're certainly hot shit right now. That's all I got for the PlayStation thingy. I don't. They probably announced some other things that I didn't.
What
care
about Stellar Blade Nier Automata? Like,
Heck
come on,
yeah.
dude.
DLC for
Is
Stellar
that-
Blade.
Yeah, what does that mean? Is that a costume? Is that all it is?
It looks
I
like
think-
just a
Gotta
costume.
be.
I think there's more in the DLC than just the costume.
Well, it does say
but
new
that is-
content.
yeah.
Do you fight 2B?
Is content
a new
in
no.
quotes.
photo mode feature. Oh,
Oh,
Connor's gonna
Yeah,
love
photo
that.
mode. I mean, people are gonna love photo mode in Stellar Blade. Come on, obviously.
Horizon Zero Dawn remastered.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah. What
Oh, yeah.
This one makes me so upset, dude. I can't believe
Seriously.
they're remaking that freaking game.
The
And
most
then
important remaster
Horizon
of our time.
Adventures, the Lego.
That one looks kind of cute.
Yeah.
I don't know who wants that, but it looks
It's
cute.
a weird choice.
It is a very weird choice.
Obviously, PlayStation 5 Pro was, kind of announced,
Right.
re-announced or whatever.
Mhm.
PS5 Chroma collection. Ooh,
Ooh.
you get colors, guys.
I
What is
think
The
Lake
Horizon
House?
Lego game, like they go from like the biggest IPs in any form of media, like Star Wars, Avengers,
Sure.
like all these big names, Indiana
DC,
Jones,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, okay, this niche, like
Right.
one video game exclusive title.
Bro,
We're gonna make a Lego version of that.
I always thought Horizon was a joke, but it seems like there's a fan base that just absolutely
It's-
loves it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. It's tough, Alex. Like, they would need, like, an IP with a rabid fan base, maybe by, like, one of the biggest names in the industry, a game that they have the exclusive rights to. Maybe that people are hungry for a remake of, but they don't have anything like that. So
Oh,
they
like
gotta
that
do
at all.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
No. They can't. It's gotta be frickin' Horizon Zero
Yeah.
Dawn.
Just give me Bloodborne on PC, guys.
I don't know what the holdup is with Bloodborne. Even if, like, I've heard people say, like, oh, it's really hard. That game is, like, held together with spit and glue.
Yeah,
Fine. Remake it from the ground up. I
Yeah.
don't
Right?
care.
At this point, why not, right?
Yeah.
Or at least Bloodborne 2. Like,
Yeah, either one. Do both.
Yeah, both.
Like,
please.
what? Don't remake Horizon Zero Dawn. What are you doing? What are you talking about?
okay, what about this Hitman VR, though?
like the Demon
sure that'll
Souls
be
remake.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something that they went and used the original source code for? Because it seems very new.
I would guess there's no way, right? Like, that was a
think
PS3
not.
game?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like just do that, but Bloodborne,
Yeah, like, even if it takes a long frickin' time, it's gonna be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on PC, relaunch it on PS5, charge $70.
But
I-
it's no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Radical Reptiles.
That's,
True
that
that.
is a good point. That's probably where the smart money is.
Or Sonic's X Shadow Generations.
Jesus Christ. Ugh. What is this
That's-
industry?
That's all I have for the state of play. There was really nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
the two that you said, but
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just glad they're making another Ghost of Tsushima game. It felt like a
Yeah.
game that was such a good standalone that I was like, how do you even make a sequel? Like, I don't care about what Jin gets up to later. Like, what he had like a good ending for his story. Just let him be. So I'm glad. I'm very glad to see. What
this
they're doing with it.
isn't a continuation, right? This is just
No.
something.
Nope.
Okay,
Totally
cool.
different. I mean, it takes place in the same,
Sure.
country.
Not even on the same
Um,
island, though, right?
No, it's not. And I think it's something like 300 years later. That might just be speculative. I don't know how much people have actually confirmed.
I did see on the emulated Bloodborne on PC front that they're progressing on a steady clip on that. It's still very, very crashy, but they've actually
Yeah.
got like a mod in place to increase the frame rate to 60.
Wow.
I saw
already?
you can get through like the intro
So-
now. Without it
Yeah,
crashing.
so-
So that's pretty big.
Last time I talked about it on here, I think I reported that they made it so it's not all red.
It's
Sounds
Bloodborne, though.
It's
It's
a
not
big
red.
step forward, I think.
What's even the point?
Looks pretty cool. There's some example videos on YouTube you can go check out. It's like, all right, maybe I could play it like this, and another year.
The sad thing
another
is,
5.
it's gonna be ready before Sony ever remakes it.
Yeah,
for some
true.
unknown reason.
And it'll be ready before Silksong comes out, so there's that at least.
And Frog Fractions 4.
Other video game news. We got Destiny Rising officially confirmed. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast from Destiny Leaks, but we got an official announcement. We got some YouTube videos. We got some footage, some Vidocs from NetEase, who is the developer, not Bungie. NetEase, famous for Diablo Immortal.
That's what I was about to ask.
So associate what you will with what this game's gonna be. I don't know. So it could be a crazy cash grab with insane monetization, or maybe it, they could learn from people being upset with Diablo. Maybe, I don't know.
Doubt it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it probably still made a bunch of money, right?
Yeah, we talked about it. $500 million. Diablo Immortal made, so
Yeah.
There's a mock-up drawing of a subclass called microtransaction, and then there's just money on every single slot.
Heck yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I think the important details we've learned about this game are it's an alternate Destiny universe, so they don't even want to officially connect it to Destiny. And it's the Destiny universe it's in is like before Titan, Hunter, and Warlock were codified into like what they are. I think it's they can like make classes, or it's not even classes, characters, I suppose, because that's what you're going to be playing as in this game, not like your own character. It's going to be heroes that you pick.
Mm-hmm.
But they can make heroes that are like combinations of
break those molds.
Those classes. We've already seen like there's some footage of like a hunter sort of looking dude, but then he whips out what looks to be like a warlock Dawnblade and does some crazy stuff with it.
I could still just be a hunter, like.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a bunch of different supers that they show in the trailer that are not in Ace Destiny, and I'm just like upset because I'm like, bruh, where that at in my Destiny?
Yeah, those look so sick. There's like a scythe one that looks pretty sick.
Scythe, yeah.
All of them to me look like what Titans are plagued with, though. They're all roaming supers.
Yeah.
So maybe not a lot of bosses.
Yeah, I mean that's really the question, right? What's the gameplay even gonna be like?
Yeah. It's a first person, third person.
Yep.
You can choose, which is interesting. We'll definitely sell them cosmetics so that people can actually look at them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they actually on the site have cosmetics already on the page for weapons.
Wow.
So that's cool stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if it's free, I'll download it for sure and see what it's like.
You can pre-register for the closed alpha.
I did that. So we'll see if I can get hands on. I'm not putting no money into that crap though.
My issue is it's on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there is a PC version of this, then sure I'll check it out. But like if it's just on my iPhone, like that thing gets mad hot. I'm not doing it.
You think they'll like a year after release be like, all right, here's the PC version of the game now?
I don't know. I mean, if they Genshin it, like then it should be on PC and mobile, and then you can take it with you, crossplay, like or cross progression. Like that'd be kind of cool.
I doubt it.
Did they ever do that for Diablo Immortal? Is that
no? That's why I doubt it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree with you, Caleb.
Thanks.
It's a good point you made.
Now that Alex agreed with you, now it's valid.
Yeah.
Before it was questionable.
Yeah. hot off the presses today, we got an announcement from Remedy.
Oh yeah.
FBC Firebreak is the name of their new co-op game coming next year, I believe.
Yeah.
It's most
FBC,
definitely
yes,
like
probably
4-player
stands
co-op,
for
right?
Federal Bureau of Control is what I'm guessing FBC
Yes.
is.
Almost
that is
certainly.
correct.
Takes place in the Control universe, which I guess is just the Alan Wake universe. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, they're the same.
Yeah, I
universe,
guess.
The
right? Yeah.
Remedy, do you just say Remedy universe now?
The
I don't know.
Remedyverse.
Sure.
Remedyverse.
Well, that's because Quantum Break is not part of it.
It is not part of it.
So, whatever. Who cares? Who cares about Quantum Break? I guess
It's not part of it only because they don't have the rights for it to be part of it.
that's a good reason, though.
It is a good reason, but
But yeah, there's a single trailer out, but it looks like a 3-player co-op shooter
Yeah.
along the lines of something like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or something like that. But like,
Mhm.
there's a bunch of really weird looking weapons shown in the trailer, so that looks kind of cool. Maybe there's a hint of like maybe characters have abilities or something. I saw a dude charge at one point through a bunch of
Yeah.
guys. So maybe there's classes of some kind.
I would assume with 3 different players, it would be 3 different classes, but
They'll probably give you
It's
4.
probably,
to
it's
choose
probably
from.
4. Yeah.
I feel like this is such a weird thing for Remedy to make because I feel like it doesn't play to any of their strengths.
yeah.
Like I obviously they make games where you shoot people, but I don't think that's ever been the appeal. You know what I mean? Like they've
Yeah,
gotten
their
way better
combat
at
hasn't
it, but
really been
yeah,
amazing ever.
Right? Like it's pretty decent in Alan Wake, and it is passable in Control, I would say. Like admittedly, the trailer does look really good. The shooting looks a lot better than their average.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like Remedy's signature thing is just making weird shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
a multiplayer shooter isn't gonna hit the same way.
Maybe. I'm hoping they can infuse the weirdness into it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll definitely see. At this point, it's like if Remedy's working on something, I'm at least curious, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how much FMV are you gonna put in it?
Yes.
Is there gonna be a dancing level? I don't know.
You know there is at this point. There has to
At
be.
this point, right? It would be weird if they didn't have a musical level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been the best part of their last 2 games.
Yep. Hands down.
I don't know. Hopefully it turns out good.
Yeah.
When I first heard they were making a multiplayer one, because it was like a rumor for a while,
Mhm.
I thought it was like a weird pickup for them. But like Control did so well for them, like I get it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I don't think when we just heard multiplayer, we didn't know if it was PvP, PvE.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And yeah, I guess PvE is a lot more interesting to me at least than PvP would have been.
Yeah, same.
Also, I should just be glad you don't have to play as the Control girl, whose name is Jessie Faden.
There you go. Nice job.
I don't like her. I think she's very boring.
I just like the world building and Control so much.
Yes.
It's so cool.
It is easily the most interesting thing about Control.
And they can do like Remedy style level design and stuff like that in a PvE game.
That
And it
is
would
true.
work, I think.
Yeah.
If you did like something like the what is it called in Control? Like the ashtray maze.
Ashtray Maze.
Yes.
That would be
So
fun.
good.
Oh my god, yeah.
Do that in like a co-op shooter. Yeah. It could I can see it working. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It comes out next year, I think you said.
I believe so. I might have been making that up.
No, they did say 2025.
Okay.
We'll see if that holds. But
Yeah.
that is what they said.
Alright.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's got a page up on Steam now, 2025.
Guess we'll see.
Great.
Page on Steam. Does that mean it's not going to be Epic exclusive for a while?
That is
Oh,
what
that's a
that
good
suggests.
Because the last few of their games have been Epic exclusive, right?
Yeah.
Control and
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake.
Mhm.
Yep. Can you even get Alan Wake 2 on Steam yet?
I don't think so.
Doesn't look it.
Yeah.
All roads return to Steam. Okay.
Yeah.
EA did it. Ubisoft just now decided all their new stuff's gonna come to Steam
Yeah.
day and date.
They gotta do something.
For real.
Yeah.
I have heard that even though Alan Wake 2 was obviously very critically acclaimed and won a lot of awards, it has not made a lot
Sold
of
really
money.
well.
Yeah. I don't like... I think
blame it.
technically it still lost them money, is what I had heard. Which, like, yeah, it isn't that surprising, honestly. It's a weird game and it was an Epic exclusive.
Yeah.
Like...
I think we
I
had
don't-
talked about it on the podcast where they finally
Probably.
decided they had made money off of it.
Oh, did they? Okay.
I think so.
All right. I mean, it obviously, I think it deserves to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
It's phenomenal. It's really
yeah,
good.
it's a cool ass game. It's a weird ass game.
Yeah, I know this guy who doesn't play any horror games, but he played all the way through it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
It might be my favorite survival horror game.
Wow. It's a lot of competition, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to think about if there's any other ones that I've played that could compete.
Any
You'd really have
Resident
to
Evil
think about
games?
that, huh?
I don't know if there's. I'm just trying to think of any other ones that I've played.
Yeah.
Does BioShock Infinite count?
No.
No.
Regular BioShock's kind of scary though.
That's why it might count.
You could argue it counts. Not infinite.
Did you not play the Dead Space remake?
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding, Jake? Come on.
Well,
I
I don't know.
still
You
want
played Alan
to.
Wake too.
I want to play that at some
You
point. I just
absolutely
haven't.
should. It's really, really good. Really,
What
really
about-
good.
Have you played any of the recent Resident Evil games?
No.
Mm-mm.
All right, I give up then.
No.
You gonna play a
And
Silent Hill 2 remake?
No. I have no desire to play that one actually.
Oh wow.
I don't really
Ain't
care. I don't really care. I don't think. But I do kind of
Wow.
want to play the Resident Evil 4 remake because I never played that like originally or after it was remade. I don't know.
Did you play
Speaking-
the original Silent Hill too?
No,
Then why does I don't
but like
understand?
I don't know. Resident Evil 4 is always brought up like constantly as like, oh, it's like one of the best games.
Hill
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
2.
I don't know. The game seems
Probably on the short list of best
Lame.
video game stories ever.
Yeah.
Widely considered a masterpiece. There's a reason they remade it, and they didn't do 1 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, just like there's a reason they are remaking Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, exactly. It's a classic that
And not
everybody
one of the-
loves.
one
Everyone
of the
loves
best
it.
video game
Developers
stories.
West, I guess. Actually, though, the story in Horizon Zero Dawn is very, very, very good. It's the
good.
best part of that game. Hands down.
Yeah.
both Horizon games chose poorly on when to release
That's true.
and what year and
Yeah.
then also what month.
Yeah.
Mhm. They really did.
This got overshadowed.
Yeah, what the first one was Breath of the Wild and the second
Breath of
one
the
was
Wild.
Elden Ring.
Yep.
Absolutely wild.
Two like genre defining
Like masterpieces.
titans of their
Uh-huh.
of the industry. Yeah.
It's like, did nobody just like look at the schedule? Because it wasn't even like, oh, those games were. It wasn't like if they released opposite Baldur's Gate 3, which was
Mhm.
sort of, I think, a surprise for most people.
Yeah.
Like, Elden Ring was already going to be the biggest thing in the world. And then obviously a new Zelda game was going to be absolutely massive.
Mm-hmm. Just bad planning, guys.
Yeah, genuinely. Maybe, man, we should. Now I'm excited for the Horizon Zero Dawn remake to see what comes out a week after it. Gonna be something great.
Silk Song.
Oh my god, don't say that.
All right, let's move into. You guys know it. You guys love it.
Whoopipple.
Whoopipple.
Whoopipple. And first thing we'll talk about here, three of us, I believe. Jake, you also played this, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, three of us at least have played Astrobot, which we might be a little bit late to discuss at this point, but
Whatever. Hey, man, it's never stopped us before.
Yeah, true that.
you probably heard it from literally everywhere else on the internet, but yeah, the game's good. Good game.
All right, moving on. Great. I love when we can just knock them out like this.
I am not quite done with it. I'm in the last world, and then I'm probably gonna go back and clean up stuff I missed to finish out the different gold flags.
Didn't even clean it up as you went, huh?
I started to, and then I was like kind of getting burned out cleaning it up as I was going, and I was like, let me just like play through the levels once, and then I'll go back. So I started doing that, but there are so many cool ideas and like just little like specialty levels that deal with like one specific gimmick that I'm in love with those little design ideas. My favorite thing is you get to the end of a world and then they do like a themed level for some Sony property, and they're so cool.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was so surprised by those. I was not. I didn't know the game had stuff like that. It's delightful because it's not just like a visual homage, which is kind of what a lot of the game is, right? You'll see like playing a robot and he looks like Crash Bandicoot, and it's like, oh, that's really cute. Like that's still fun. But this is like the whole level is based. They basically recreate the mechanics of the game in Astro.
And it plays like that game, but in Astro. It's crazy.
Like, really well too. It's not just like, because I thought it would be really like gimmicky, but it does pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, like this is the God of War level, and they give you an axe that you can throw and call back to yourself, and it's like, and it works just like in God of War. And there's like some puzzles that translate straight from God of War if you've played from God of War.
It's crazy, man.
The craziest one I've seen so far, and I'm probably only missing one at this point that I haven't seen, so I don't know what the last level is, but they made a Loco Roco level, which blew me away.
Did they? Oh.
I was like, you picked this property?
Is that the one where you're a giant blob and you can split into smaller blobs? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what game that was
from. I love Loco Roco.
That's
awesome.
Level.
And it plays just like a Loco Roco level. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
It's so nostalgic.
I think I'm only like halfway through the game. I have not put enough time into it just yet, but I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yeah, I think if you're a fan of like Mario Odyssey, I think Astrobot's something you'll really like, because it's very similar in style. There's always, every level has its own gimmick that kind of builds on a little bit.
It more reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
Than Odyssey, because Galaxy had distinct worlds that each had their own gimmick. But it does have a little more of like the collection-y stuff, like finding kind of the secrets that Odyssey had.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's sort of like a midpoint between those two games.
Man, I don't remember almost anything from Galaxy at this point. It's so long.
It also has like when you don't have any of the gimmick power-ups or whatever, it's a little bit less mechanically intense than something like Odyssey. Like
that's true.
Odyssey, you always have the cap that you can do some crazy stuff with.
Yeah. There's no fancy tech, jump tech or anything.
Yeah.
It's also a very easy game.
Yeah.
Like
very easy.
Pretty darn standard. I had trouble with one level so far. It was like one of these challenge triangle levels.
Oh, yeah.
Those can actually be a little frustrating, I feel like.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, especially when I was doing that level, is like a difference between this and like a Mario game. You just insta-die if you get hit by anything.
Yeah, it's a one hit.
Whereas like usually in Mario games, you have a couple hits to take before you get reset. And sometimes in very specific situations, that can be a little frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're just like mindlessly going through an easy section and you do something really stupid and it sets you back a good amount, I'm like, man, that was dumb. That shouldn't have killed me. But it's mostly just like pure nostalgia fueled delight.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's got like
I
a
just-
bazillion references.
Yeah.
So many that I didn't get.
There's a surprising number of bots that pop up, and I'm like, man, I don't even know who this is referencing.
Yeah.
I feel like I
guys
should.
recognize Deacon St. John from everyone's
Deacon
favorite game, Days
St. John.
Gone.
I actually did get that
recognize
one.
The Days Gone
Yeah.
character,
Mhm. Of course you did. He's
I
a
don't know his
beloved
name,
icon.
but I did recognize him.
There are some other ones that I don't know
Yeah.
where they're coming from.
I feel like I've known most of them. There were like one or two so far, but I'm also way less. I haven't finished it yet.
Sure.
Did you guys hear about the Days Gone guy?
Mm-mm.
He was being
No.
kind of salty that that Deacon St. John was included.
Oh, why?
Really?
Yeah, he's like a dickhead though. He also
Oh.
was mad at fans for not buying enough Days Gone on launch.
Okay.
For like them
Yeah.
not getting greenlighting a sequel. He's just an asshole.
Okay.
But he was saying that like he didn't like his character being used as like a shill now.
Oh.
As though, again, the guy from Days Gone, the open world zombie game,
That was the
is some
draw.
like sacred. Yeah, A was a sacred thing, and B that it's helping Astrobot,
Yeah, it's the
and
one
not
that's
the other
propping it
freaking
up.
way around. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not Psycho Mantis or like
Yeah.
Ape Escape Monkey 1 through 6.
Love those guys.
Be surprised
Man.
if there's only 6.
Loco Roco Blob. Yeah,
Man,
I'll finish it out, and maybe that'll make my game of the year at some spot. We'll see. I feel like I've had like one good platformer on there every year.
Hmm.
So
I mean, you don't have to have one platformer on
I
there every
don't.
year. You can choose not to, Alex.
I don't.
It's okay.
yeah. Chad, what have you been playing lately?
All right, well, before I announce what I've been playing, I was very curious about the Horizon Zero Dawn release and what released around it.
Mm-hmm.
October 31st is supposedly the remaster release, and that is Dragon Age Veilguard's release date.
Oh,
So,
Dragon Age
Bodes
the
well for
Veilguard.
Veilguard.
It's gonna be
Confirmed game
really
of the year.
Confirmed so good.
That's really funny.
BioWare is back.
and
About
I mean, Dragon Age is just a pretty big name, though. So,
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Anyways,
hope
what I've been
Veilguard's good.
playing, shockingly, people probably haven't guessed this. Destiny 2?
What's
You guys
that?
heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Is
Is
that
that the new one
Destiny
coming out on
Rising?
phone?
Doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah, it's the one coming out on phone. So they released Vesper's Host, the new dungeon, for the season here, where it's like a bunch of zombified fallen, which is kind of cool. And so it's like a spooky kind of weird dark dungeon that you got to go through in the Europa landscape. So you're kind of dealing with deepstone crypty mechanics, the operator, suppressor, and the scanner. Did competition mode over the weekend, or at least a little bit that I could get on, because we had multiple peoples in the group of 3 of us that had different plans that we had to go take care of. And it was a tough one. We got all the way to the last boss, and we got to damage phase a couple times on the last boss, but man, the wind up to get to damage phase is crazy. It's way longer than any other dungeon that you have out there right now. To put it into perspective on the toughness, I kind of pulled up a couple of the emblems that have been in competition mode before, such as King's Fall, which is it was only the first 24 hours that people were able to attempt it, and it was 16,675 people completed that, which that wasn't. I think people didn't think that was too tough, but also it was pretty good. And then Rita Nightmares came out, and everybody was like, "Holy crap, that was like the easiest raid ever!" 188,201 people
Jeez.
completed competition mode on that one. And then you go to the Salvation's Edge,
Oh no.
and that is where it gets tough. 3,292 people. So I'm actually kind of not upset that we didn't attempt that. I mean, it was tough when we went through it the first time. So, but we come to Vesper's host, and I have two conflicting results with these numbers. The official number is 14,775. So it's kind of along the lines of King's Fall difficulty. But it was before the last like 4 hours, I think we were around 9,000, 8,000, somewhere around there. And then somebody found out that there was a cheese. And the cheese is there's unlimited respawn tokens. And how you get that is as soon as you die, you just leave. Go to King's Fall, drop a banner, grab it, come back, and then you're alive with full ammo. So people, I don't know why that works, how
Weird.
that works. Like it's bizarre, but yeah, the people use that, and so a lot of people got pushed over the edge. Knowing how much I know about like dungeons and raids and stuff like that, and like playing with the crew that I play with, and honestly, from the beginning of Salvation's Edge, how difficult I saw that raid to now, where I think it's honestly one of the easiest raids out there. If we had like 4 more hours to really like dig into this last boss, I think my group could have done it. Because I mean, we got to the damage phase. We just needed to get comfortable with rotations, knowing where to stand, knowing how to get there efficiently, and even like maybe me switching off a hunter, going to Titan or something, because there was
That's blasphemy,
one room.
Chad.
What's that?
Blasphemy.
There's one room that there was just too much damage that a Titan shield would have helped, like a second one. So yeah, that's all I've been doing in there. You know, going through some of that. The dungeon's really good. I actually think it's really good. People are upset because it's reused assets, but at the same time, it's a Europa dungeon. Like, what are you gonna have? Like sand dunes and like no, it's like you're having a Europa lab. Like that's what you're gonna get. Yeah, it's cool. It was a cool dungeon. You guys should check it out soon. And then another game that I've been playing is Throne and Liberty came out, which is just kind of a shocker for me because at first I was like, "There's ain't no way I'm touching this game," because the first thing I saw about this game was probably like a year ago. I watched it play itself, essentially. Like it was just like very mobily and like it just like you did an action and then it just kind of went through and killed like multiple things and collected it. It's like you basically could just hands off and it would play itself. Apparently they went back to the drawing board, completely revamped the game, and it's a tab targeting Lost Ark, and that's pretty much the best way to describe it. Is it's still got the grind. It's got the pay to win value. It's got the gear grind. There are times where you get like books for like your rare skills or your legendary skills or whatever, and those books you use them to like kind of gamble to get level up to the next level. But the thing is you don't really lose out on those books. It's just the efficiency of the books will either be like 20% or it'll be like 50%. But it's not like a complete miss like in Lost Ark when you tried to level up. You just lose out on everything that you farmed because it just said, hey, fail, and then you just lost out on like 8 hours of grinding. The dungeons are pretty cool. I've gone through a couple of them. The mechanics are pretty unique. But yeah, it is. I think it's very heavily targeting a PvP fan base because there's like world bosses and stuff like that out there that are contested, or like open world dungeons that you can go into that are also contested. And so you can like kill people that are in that area, but it's contained to that area. So if you're like outside of that area, there's no PvP. But once you step foot in that area, like you become tagged and you're able to get killed. And so there's like purple weapons that drop from the world bosses, and it's all dependent on guild contribution. So whatever guild does like the most damage to the boss gets the drop. while other guilds, who are PvPing and stuff like and trying to get the contribution, are like focusing on killing the boss, but then also killing the people, and it's a bloodbath over there. Which is it's fun if you're into that sort of thing. It's WoW has that here and there, but this is definitely trying to dig more into that. There's like a 3v3 arenas. There's other random events that happen out in the world that also are contested sometimes, and then sometimes they're peaceful. And they're on an hourly schedule basis, so you can kind of click open. And this is the Lost Arky part. You can click open a schedule. You can look through it and see like, oh, okay, I need that event, so I gotta wait until 3:00 in the afternoon to hop on. So it's cool. It's got a lot of weekly and daily stuff that you can do, so that it's a lot of. The game is self-time gated, so like you do like I don't know 4 or 5 dungeons and you used up all the dungeon credits, so now you gotta wait 12 to 15 hours for the dungeon credits to be repopulated. So you can't just sit there grinding the dungeon over and over and over and over again. So yeah, it's free to play, so it's a pretty good one out there for free to play. But
it's made by the Guild Wars people, right?
Yeah, so I think NCSoft owns ArenaNet. ArenaNet creates Guild Wars. NCSoft, this is more like a, what is it, Lineage 2, those games, and then this one came out, Throne of Liberty, so like a spiritual successor or something like that. So that it's why if you actually look at the development process of Throne of Liberty, it's wild. It used to look like Diablo, and they were like, let's go back to the drawing board because Diablo came out. So
great. Let's mix it up. Let's go, Jake.
Me? Oh my god.
Whoa, buddy.
What are you doing?
I don't know what to do.
Aaron's not here. It's chaos.
Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of things, but I'm just going to talk about 2 of them today. So a new game came out called The Holy Gosh Darn. This is the 3rd game in the Tuesday trilogy by Perfectly Paranormal, I think is the name of the studio. Yeah, Perfectly Paranormal. They're the guys who made Manuel Samuel and Helheim Hassel. So I think this is like the end of the Tuesday trilogy.
Well, if you have another one, it's not the trilogy anymore.
That is true, and it is called the Tuesday trilogy. But so it's sort of been
Tuesday?
a different. All 3 of those games
Tuesday.
take place on the same Tuesday.
Oh.
Literally, I think Manuel Samuel starts as like on a random Tuesday.
Yep.
And then they just decided everything's gonna happen on Tuesday.
That Tuesday.
Nice.
So this one is more of like a adventure game, like an inventory puzzler. The gimmick is that you are playing an angel up in heaven, and then heaven explodes. And so you work with Death? I think it's Death. And he gives you a little watch that lets you rewind to the start of that day. And so you basically, it's like a time loop game. You have a certain amount of time to get everything done, and then you can rewind back to an earlier point to try to do stuff. It's really fun. It's probably my favorite of the 3 games.
Really?
Wow.
I think so, yeah. I mean,
I love
Manuel Samuel.
That was my favorite.
I think I need to replay it. It's been so long. I feel like it's kind of short, though.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's fine, but this game took me... Admittedly, I was going back and replaying for trophies and stuff, but I have 8.8 hours in it. I think it took me 6 hours to finish. So it's a decently long game. And I think this setup allows like the writing to really shine. Helheim Hassel was more of like a puzzle game. Like the whole gimmick with that one, if you remember, is you could tear off your limbs and then they could operate independent of one another.
Yep.
Which is a cute idea, but I feel like the pacing was really slow. And a lot of the puzzles, I think, ended up feeling a little more frustrating than fun. Whereas this, a lot of the puzzles involve talking to people and figuring stuff out, and that, I think, tends to be more fun. It lets all the funny dialogue and funny characters really shine.
For the record, I have 90 minutes in Manuel Samuel.
Okay, yeah, that's kind
with
of
a story completion achievement. So
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's really fun.
Is this why you went on an adventure game kick
It is.
recently?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I finished the Holy Gosh Darn, and I was like, oh, I want to play it again and get the trophies. And that ended up being a little bit frustrating. So I was like, well, let me just play some of these other adventure games that have been sitting around. Man, I didn't have this on the list, but I guess I can talk about those. I played a little bit of Grim Fandango. That's an old LucasArts game written by Tim Schafer. It's really fun, really charming. I feel like the puzzles in that one are a little obtuse. Like, there was a part where I had to get past like a bunch of birds for whatever reason. So like I went and I got a balloon animal made that looked like a cat, and I was like, okay, birds are scared of cats, they'll be scared of this bird. I go up, I show them the balloon, they don't give a shit. Okay. I go somewhere else and I find some bread. I'm like, oh, birds like bread. So I tear up the bread, put it in a little bowl. The birds come over, eat the bread, and then go right back to where they were without giving me any time to interact. And I was like, okay, I officially don't know what the fuck you want me to do. The answer was take the cat balloon, put it in the bowl, then put the bread on top of the cat balloon. The birds eat the bread, popping the balloon, scaring them and making them leave.
Wow.
Yeah, stupid fucking me for not putting the balloon in the bowl. Whatever. It is a fun game, but I have basically just been having a walkthrough up on my second monitor for when I get to a point in a puzzle where I'm just like, I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah.
And I also played a little bit of The Secret of Monkey Island. That one hasn't been... There was one thing that was a little bit frustrating, but it's been fun. That one's clearly quite a bit older. I learned it's like 9 years older than Grim Fandango, which is crazy.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's older. Yeah, because I was
Grim Fandango is not new.
No, it's quite old as well. I guess I should also specify, I'm playing the remaster of both of those, not the originals.
Yeah.
Just because those games are really hard to run anymore.
Yeah.
The engines just like don't work with modern hardware anymore. But they've both been good. The writing is very charming, but the mechanics are very clunky. So it's kind of a give and take. But yeah, that is why I was on an adventure game kick for a while, is because of the Holy Gosh Darn. I definitely recommend it. It is not... It's very easy. I don't think there were a lot of puzzles that I really had to like rack my brain for. But the writing's fun, it keeps up a good pace.
I feel like anytime you're playing something that's like a... I don't know, what did you call it? Inventory puzzler or something you called it? I think?
Adventure game's probably the cleanest way to say it.
Probably is.
Yeah.
But anytime you're playing one of those, I feel like if a puzzle is in any way complicated, it just gets frustrating.
That is true.
Because they want you to do something very specific and you're not.
Yeah. You know, I just remembered, I also replayed Broken Age.
Oh.
That's a good game. That's a fun game.
That is a good game.
The first half, I think, is absolutely brilliant, and the second half is not as good. But I still enjoy it. I like that game a lot. The other game I've been playing, or I guess the other game I want to talk about that I've been playing, we mentioned it before, Metaphor ReFantazio. Just came out a little bit ago. This is the new JRPG by Atlas, the guys who make Persona. And this is one Persona-ass game. Incredibly stylish. You make friends with people, and then you get sort of like a social link with them that you can level up by hanging out with them. You get a dungeon that you need to clear before a certain calendar day. The time elapses in-game, and every day you can do different things that'll raise your stats or increase your rank with your social people. It's pretty much a Persona game through and through. But some of the differences, I guess. This is a straight-up fantasy game. Persona always takes place in, like, modern-day Japan. But this is like a fantasy world with magic and fantasy races. People have horns and bunny ears and all that good stuff. There are kings and stuff. So it's been interesting to experience it in sort of a different setting. Obviously, I really like kind of the contemporary part of Persona, but it's kind of been refreshing to see something else. And then the other big difference, for anyone who doesn't know, Persona has like a fusion system. The way it works is you fight these monsters in the dungeons, and then you can basically capture them, and they are what you use to fight. And so you go into the dungeon, you get kind of a collection of these personas, and then you can go back and fuse them together to make more powerful versions. It's really the basis of all of the, at least Persona 3 to Persona 5. And I have always found it to be a little obtuse, a little frustrating. I basically just take my strongest ones and mash them together. And I'm like, great, that'll do. I don't pay any attention to, like, stats or what combinations should do what. I'm just like, just make a bigger number, please. And I'll just use it. I'm sure there are people who really like it. I'm just not one of those people. Metaphor v Fantasia, though, works, it's more of just like a job system. So each social link represents a different job. So, like, your little fairy companion, she is the mage. You can just equip a mage class. And you just,
Great.
here's the list of skills that the mage gets, and as you level up, you get more.
Great.
So clean.
Yeah, a lot simpler.
The other nice thing is, you can change what job your companions are.
Nice.
So you're not just stuck with, like, you know, stupid Yusuke who doesn't even learn charge. What am I supposed to do with him? Charge is the best move in the game. He's useless. Throw him away. I can just be like,
so much damage even without charge, though.
here's the problem, though. Ryuji gets charge. So he just does even more. But yeah, no,
So does that mean essentially you can take people you care about with you instead of people
I
that you
think
care
so.
about what they can do?
Yeah.
It certainly opens it up more. I imagine their stats are still going to be the same. You know what I mean? Like, you equip a job and it'll be like, oh, you get +5 to magic when you equip this. But if one person natively has 20 magic and the other person has 5,
Right.
right, you probably don't want your warrior guy to be a mage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it should give you a lot more flexibility. I'm obviously still very, very early. I only have 6 hours in.
And we're talking 100+ hour game here. So.
It's I have
Probably.
heard 80.
Okay.
80 is the
80.
number I've heard. So, you know, it's pretty short as far as these things go.
I heard you don't get to, like, okay, I listened to the besties and they're talking on there about how, like, the core loop doesn't really get going until, or it doesn't really start until 10 hours in. It doesn't really get going until 20 hours in. is the quotes from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously I don't know what exactly they're talking about.
Yeah.
I already have a dungeon I need to clear before a certain date, and I have an open world where I can run around doing a bunch of side activities to raise my stats.
Yeah.
To
Sounds like you're
me,
doing it.
that's the Persona loop. Maybe it's going to be different, and obviously there are things I have not unlocked yet. Like, I think technically I can't hang out with my friends to increase our social stats yet, but I think as soon as I actually clear this dungeon, I will unlock that.
I think I read somewhere that opposite of Persona, it's highly recommended to finish the dungeons as soon as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I was being clever waiting. Fine, whatever. It's fine.
Because it
Weird.
does, I think, unlock stuff like that.
Okay. That's funny, because literally I always did that in Persona, and by the end I was like, it's kind of dumb that I do it this way. I should wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've
here I
heard it's
am.
the opposite.
Well, that's fine. I'll go back to my monkey brain ways. Another potentially cool thing is I think you can get, like, advanced classes. So, like, once you reach an archetype or a job, whatever, up to level, I think it's like 20, you'll get an advanced version of it. And I think there's also ones that'll have requirements where it's like, oh, if you want to be a samurai, you need warrior level 10 and knight level 5.
Oh.
I haven't gotten any of that yet. That's just kind of what I've gotten through osmosis.
Very
Just
Fire
reading
Emblem
about this game.
feel.
Yes, that does feel very Fire Emblem, right? I'm really excited about exploring the job system more. I like this system a lot more than the fusion system. I thought the fusion system was annoying.
Nice. I'm excited to play this.
Yeah, no. One last thing. I promise this is the last thing. You can you get a slot. You can basically pay to inherit a skill from one of the other archetypes, which incentivizes you to not just be like, okay, I'm a warrior and I'm just going to do warrior. I don't care about advanced class. I don't care about doing other stuff. Now it's like, well, I want to do warrior, but if I get to level 5 in mage, I can get that cool buff spell, and I can just stick that on my warrior, and it's like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I think that is... I like systems like that incentivize you to try different classes and, like, kind of min-max in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to play this one. Play more of this one, I should say.
Great. Caleb, what have you been playing?
I've been playing some more of Black Myth Wukong. I'm getting really close to the end now. I just wanted to bring it up because it's really fun, but I highly recommend if you're going to play it to... every region has a secret area. It's even labeled secret in the fast travel menu.
Wow.
Yeah. And
It's
I
not
highly
much of a secret, is it?
Well, finding it is a secret. Once you found it and you can teleport to it, it doesn't bother hiding it anymore. But I highly recommend doing each of the secret areas. There's one in each region. The one in region 3 doesn't unlock until you beat the bosses of all the other regions, which are like 1 through 5. But the final boss of that one is really, really cool fight. A really difficult fight, which is uncommon in Black Myth Wukong, it seems like. Overall,
Wow,
boss fights are pretty
What a
easy.
gamer.
Yeah, dude. I think they're all
they're not that
difficult. You're just a
difficult.
gamer, dude.
This one was really hard, but really, really cool. So if you're gonna play through Wukong, I highly recommend doing all the secret area stuff. Very fun. Other than that, while I was on vacation, played all the way through Mini Shoot Adventures on my Steam Deck.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little game. It's basically a twin stick shooter Zelda. I think Alex has talked about it
Yeah.
before. But I really enjoyed my time with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a little Metroidvania-y, I guess. Zelda and Metroidvania kind of have some things in common, I suppose. So
it really made me think our old Zelda games just Metroidvanias in like a trench coat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of.
They definitely have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It's not terribly long either. I think I played it for like 8 hours or 9 maybe.
Did you do the challenge combat things, Gauntlet, at the end?
Probably. I have all the achievements. Achievement.
I think it is actually.
Then probably. Oh, you know what? I think I got really annoyed by that, so I just turned on invincibility and ran through it.
Wow.
Cheater. He's not a gamer. He's
I did
a
cheat
fake
for that one.
gamer.
But I admitted to it, so it's fine.
That's like the achievement I'm missing still because I didn't beat those arenas.
I beat like the first... How many? There's 5. I think I beat the first 3, and the 4th one I was like, this is not fun anymore. So I just turned it on and ran through it.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unreal.
I mean, it's in the options. So is it cheating?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what else is in options? Easy mode. Cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Easy mode's cheating. That's what we heard it here
You
first.
heard it here first.
That's what we're going with.
Write it down.
Using magic in Elden Ring, cheating.
Cheating.
Mimic tier, cheating. Was that
When are you gonna
is
finish
that all
Elden
you?
Ring, by the way?
Stop.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Ben's lucky he's sick and left early.
I guarantee he has not touched that game.
You don't think he's played any more Elden Ring?
I also don't think he's lucky.
It's really funny that we got this Steam family share thing directly after everybody pulled to buy an Elden Ring.
We bought that idiot Elden Ring, and now we can just give it to him for free from our libraries. Are you serious?
Like 5 extra copies of the
funny.
game. Yeah, so I guess I'll go over what I've been playing lately. And thanks to Steam Family Sharing and Jake's Library, I played Thank Goodness You're Here.
How did you like that game?
That game is sick.
Okay.
It is basically just I want to say it's just an adventure game again, but like more like you just wander around and interact with things until you figure out the trigger to progress.
You do need to find stuff and take it places. It's not just a walking sim.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's very short and it's mostly just a comedy game.
Yes.
Very British. Highly British. When you boot the game, it like pops up this thing that says something ridiculous. And I didn't understand it, so I was like there's an option that's like it says something else that I don't even know what that said, and then the other option is what? Question mark, and if you hit what question mark, and it puts the game in regular English. I figured out after the fact the other way is like British slang, I guess.
Yeah.
and for like all the menus and stuff, it just didn't make any sense at all. So that's the vibe that's going on with that game. It's like cartoon animation style, which is kind of cool. Very clean. And it was just like funny writing. It's very funny, and it's very short. It's like 2 hours long.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's good. I'm glad you liked it. I liked it pretty well. I think it sounds like you liked it more than me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just by the end, I feel like I kind of was over it.
Just burnt out on it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it definitely had its moments that were funny, but by the end, I was kind of just like, okay, all right. What are we doing?
Get it by the end.
Yeah, right. It's not mechanically demanding at all. There's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of kind of walking in circles.
Yeah, it does have you loop through several areas a lot.
Yes,
and there's like one way to get into each area, and then to get back out of it, you'd have to like loop all the way around the whole system of the map, essentially.
It usually does a good job of having like different stuff as you walk through, but you do a lot of walking through areas you've already been.
Some minor gags along the way. Like every time I passed the two people arguing over the trash cans, they were doing something different. That's funny.
Yeah, I did like that.
Payoffs for there's like a woman that is afraid of snails or something, and she keeps on complaining about that. And then one of the loops later in the game, a bunch of snails show up, and she's freaking out. You can go run around and smash all the snails. Yeah, I it's cool because like I don't think I would have paid for that game.
Yeah.
Myself, so it's neat that it was just there because I did want to play it.
You're welcome, buddy. Family sharing it's been nice.
Along the same lines, I at some point purchased I Am Your Beast. If you want to check that out at some point, that's very slick and cool.
That is like the first person Hotline Miami looking thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that
nice.
It's pretty short. Just to give back to the group.
So generous. Got to play that before they shut the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Before they listen to this podcast and realize we're abusing it.
The other thing I want to talk about is Dragon Age. Veilguard's coming out soon, and I've been playing through the Dragon Age games. So I finished Origins. I finished 2, and
wow, you're cruising.
I am in a few. I'm not that far into Inquisition yet.
At least it's a really short game.
Because why? Because why, Alex?
I was gonna play like a bunch of it last night. I sat down. I was like, all right, I'm gonna play like 3 hours of this game right now. And then Chad was like, what if we just played the multiplayer instead? And I was like, all right, let's play the Inquisition multiplayer.
Jesus Christ.
So then we ended up figuring out how to get all that working for a while. I played that.
You've got to start there now. How was the Inquisition multiplayer? I've never played it.
Man, it's kind of cool, but
is it?
It's definitely meant for 4 players, and we only had 2. But it's essentially like a class-based like dungeon crawl with like the Inquisition combat mechanics. So I was playing a mage, and there's like 17 characters you can choose from, but most of them are locked.
Wow. Oh,
so you unlock it as you go. So I like picked the one mage that was available, and I had a barrier and a chain lightning, and that was all I had to begin with.
Oh, that's rough.
And Chad had like a dwarven tank dude.
Okay.
So he would run up and take aggro for everybody, and then I would just like throw a barrier on him and cast chain lightning over and over.
I had one skill that I think if I took damage 5 seconds after I took damage, if I used it, it's like 200% weapon damage back to them. And then the skill that I mostly used while I let Alex basically kill everybody was just a tower shield ability that every time I got hit, I just got shield put onto my health bar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But there's
like, apparently I got 2 characters to level 7 with Travis when I played that in the past.
There's like class progression and unlocking other characters and like all that kind of stuff. There's like skill trees that you go down. It seems fairly in depth, and like I think it would actually be really cool to play a bunch of it, but it's like so old at this point. I don't know. It's so weird. I was telling Chad like we didn't really get a ton of the way through because it's like very hard with two people and like low level characters, and
You weren't playing with Caleb the gamer.
like yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing for sure. But I was like, I can see the potential. And it's like, it kind of reminded me of like one of those types of games that I've always wanted to have, which is basically just like Holy Trinity style, like tank DPS support, but in a PvE game.
Right.
And like you run levels with it, and it's like class and party makeup actually matters. It had that vibe, definitely. I don't know. I don't remember anybody ever really talking about it, even back in the day.
Yeah,
which is weird.
I
It came
don't
out
think people cared
after
about
release,
it that much.
right?
I don't think so.
But it did.
I mean, you could be right. I guess I don't remember. I literally never played it.
Like, it got me interested enough that I was like, man, I wonder if Veilguard's gonna have something like this. And I went and looked, and I was like, no, Veilguard's strictly single player. They're not trying to do any multiplayer with it. So that's unfortunate, but it definitely seemed kind of cool.
What did you think of the real Dragon Age games, though?
Okay, yeah. So Origins. Origins holds up, I think. It has some technical issues, like just UI not scaling to higher resolutions and stuff like that.
It's also
Maybe
the ugliest game known to man.
some like control stuff. Sometimes some AI bugs out weirdly. Like, I have my tactics set up for my rogue, where I'm like, you should be fighting people, definitely, based on what I have set up here, but you're standing next to me doing nothing, and I don't know why. But besides all that, I think that game holds up brilliantly. It has a great story, great characters. It really feels like you're on like this big adventure traveling across the world. It does the whole like travel across the world map thing, and then like random events happen while you do that.
What class did you play?
Mage.
What subclass did you play?
I
Or subclasses, perhaps.
Yeah, I basically I played like a controlling mage, I guess. I had like the freezy move. I had like what do you call the move? It's like a cage of energy.
Static cage.
Whatever that thing is. So I'd put that on like elites and like burn people down. And then I had like fireball, which is pretty much an opener to every fight.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I did like support stuff. I had heals and I had haste and I had like barriers and stuff like that. So I kind of played a healer / support mage in my own single player game.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You control your other companions.
Yeah. So
and it is a role that none of the other mages are super well suited to. Like, Wynn supports, but she doesn't have any control.
Yeah, I didn't bring her.
You know, she's boring.
I mostly ran with Alistair and Morgan and what's her name? Liliana or
Oh, Liliana, yes.
Liliana. I brought her, made her full rogue.
She's great.
Dual wield.
Dual wield, not archer. Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of spec her towards. She starts off kind of spec towards archer, and I was like, I want another person up in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, you do unlock another. Well, I suppose you can unlock another dual wield rogue later.
Yeah, and I was I was already progressing a lot with her before I got to him. So
I think she's a better fleshed out character than Zevran.
Yeah,
even though he's fun, I love him too. But
that's actually one of the.
A lot more going
so
on.
I played Dragon Age 2 also. One of the differences between the two games that I noticed is like Origins doesn't really. I don't think Origins does a good job of making you spend time with all the different characters. Like, I basically kept my party, and I learned a lot about those dudes and not a lot about all the other side characters.
Yep.
Dragon Age 2 does a lot to force you to learn a lot about everybody, which is kind of nice. but also it's a far inferior game in like every other way.
Yeah, that one's a rough one.
So Dragon Age 2 I don't think holds up as much as Origins. I remember hearing the reason why people were upset with this game was because they sped up the combat and made it less tactical to make it more like actiony, like a more actiony game. Mm-hmm. And that is almost the least of its issues, I think. Where Origins is like this big grand story and you travel across like this whole region of the planet and everything. Dragon Age 2 takes place in one city the entire time. The entire game. And it's like not even like that diverse of a city. Like they constantly reuse assets for buildings and corridors and dungeons to where it's almost feeling like you're just going through the same handful of like areas over and over again.
One of my favorite memories of Dragon Age 2 is going through the dungeon so much that I knew them by heart, then going into a dungeon and going, oh my god, this is a different dungeon, and then realizing they started me at the end of the dungeon I've done 100 times, and are just making me do it backwards.
Wow.
It's so weird. And it's not like you're going to like the same named area. It's like, oh, this is a different dungeon, don't worry. This is a different area. And then it's just the same room again. Reused. And I'm like, man, okay. I read some about the development of the game after the fact that apparently they were extremely rushed and like the game was supposed to be a DLC to begin with and became this other thing.
I didn't know that. I'm not surprised though.
It's weird because it's so claustrophobic compared to Origins.
Yes. Yeah, Origins has so many levels and areas and places. And they're all so different, right? Orzammar is like this huge underground city that's not like anything else you do. It's
so varied.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of exploration. This is like go to point A, go to point B, and it's constantly fast traveling between areas of the city. Mm-hmm. And man, like the first act of this game is basically just they introduce you to the plot of you gotta go on this adventure into the deep what do they call
deep
roads.
Probably.
And to do that you need to get 50 gold. That's your first objective. And then they put you in the city and you gotta do a bunch of side quests to get gold before you can go on this main plot thing. And that is the entire first act. And also, that is the longest act in the game. That is by far the longest I spent. And it's like just nothing happening the entire time besides you just doing random stuff for people. And
at
occasionally
least, solve a murder or something. Come on.
Man, there actually was a murder quest at one point that came up after you said that to me the other day. And it was just like not fulfilling. But the other issues I have with this game is like the dialogue system in Origins is very like open-ended and it's just like a couple of options you select from and you don't really know what's going to happen. This game they introduced like your character's going to have a tone of voice, I guess. Like you can be like sympathetic or like jokey or like direct and straight to the point. Like those are your three options. And each of the dialogue options in the tree has like a symbol associated with those three options. So once you decide which one you're going to be, you no longer have dialogue options. You just pick the one that has that symbol every time. Because going between them doesn't help you. Like you want to stay in your lane.
Oh. I mean, it also just... if you're like, oh, my character's kind of like a goofy guy, why would I suddenly start picking the serious options?
Yeah.
You know, like, this is the option that feels like my character. Yeah, it might as well just be one pick at the start, right?
I like it's to the point where I can like just hammer the same button over and over again without reading the options because I know I'm always going to pick like the top right option. Like that's my thing. Or sometimes they'll be like, oh, you want to know more information? Then you click on the give me more information, ask questions button. And then that's like different, but it always routes back to the same set of options that you get where you answer the same thing every time. So that I thought was worse. And then like the main thing that people complain about, the combat being actiony, they did in fact speed up the combat, which I was almost gonna be like okay with. I was like, maybe faster combat would be nice. It's not actually faster. It's secretly slower. Because all of the cooldowns for your abilities are way longer than Origins. All the animations and the basic auto attack is way faster than Origins. So it feels like everything's happening a lot faster. But then like to throw a fireball, you gotta wait so long for that to come back that you're just kind of like throwing audio attacks forever, and then like, oh, I can do something else until you get to like level 20 in the game where you have like so many abilities that you can actually be doing crazy crap. I did kind of like the build I ended up with eventually, though. It was quite fun. I was playing with force powers in this one. I was a mage again. I've been playing a female mage in every game, even though they're technically different characters, but whatever. And so my female mage in the second game would be like suck everybody together into a big clump, then drop a big slow on top of the clump so nobody can get out of it, then drop Tempest on top of that so everybody just gets like murdered with lightning bolts and they can't run away. So that was fun every time. That was enjoyable.
Nice. I like that you said technically different characters. They're just different characters.
They are, I mean, yeah.
Just like normal style.
But like I've been building basically the same character.
The same character. Okay, sure.
Like I've been making a redhead human woman mage in every game. So when Hawk shows up, I've heard that Hawk shows up in Inquisition, so that'll be weird.
That'll be weird.
And that's the last thing I have a problem with in Dragon Age 2, which is after you complete the entire story, like the setup for the story is one of the companions that you play with in the game, Varric, is being interrogated by this lady, and he's basically telling your story, and you play through it throughout the game, and then it'll occasionally flash back to them too, and he'll be like, oh, but this is what really happened, let me tell you, and then he like goes into the story again. And then you finish out the game, and it turns out like Dragon Age 2 is essentially just like an elaborate, overly long prologue for Inquisition, I think, in terms of like progression of the story in the world. Because not a ton happens, but huge thing happens that sets off like a war between the mages and the Templars essentially at the end of the game. And I'm pretty sure that's what they go into in Inquisition, deal with that mess. Because the start of Inquisition is like the Varric and like the girl that was interrogating him are there, and you meet up with them seemingly shortly after she got finished interrogating him about what happened in the second game. So it's just an elaborate prologue, which is weird to me.
Did you like how they spend all game building up that conflict between the mages and the Templars, and they're like, oh, you have to choose a side, and then you just do both bosses anyways?
Yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely incredible. Like, I couldn't believe it when I first played it. I was like, really? This is what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really like the way that game ended because I felt like I didn't have enough agency in what happened.
I hated it. I was like, what was even the point? Dragon Age 2,
you have like
I like the characters
companion
in it a lot, yes.
betrayal and like...
Oh, yeah, sure. Honestly, that whole character, whose name I do not remember at all, he was interesting.
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name now, too.
Yeah, he basically, he has like a spirit of justice in him, but it's also arguably a spirit of vengeance. And so he has a cool mechanic where he switches between the two, the spirit of justice. The spirit of justice helps like healing and support, and the spirit of vengeance does like damage. He's really cool. He's really interesting in terms of like the overall story. The only character I really remember well is the Blood Elf mage. I liked her a lot. She was
I didn't use her a ton, but I did like
No.
her.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
I had Anders, and I had like the slave elf dude. What's his name?
Fenrir? Something like that?
Fenris.
Fenris.
He hates mages, so it was interesting to always have them together.
Well, and you were a mage.
And I was a mage, yeah. So that was just interesting. And then, I took a warrior to just be a tank. But Anders, I romanced Anders, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put so much effort into my relationship with this dude, and then he goes and like doesn't tell me what his plan is, backstabs me, does this horrible crap, and then at the end of the game, I was like, well, do they expect me to just kill him? I don't want to do that. So I ended up being like, I'm not going to kill you. And then the game was like, oh, so you approve of what he did. I'm like, no, that's not.
That's not what I said,
That's not what I was trying to say. That's not what I was trying to say. Please don't say that I approve of this action. And then the other thing is like, if you go on the other side where you side with the Templars, I just feel like that is not even an option because of how horrible that lady is. She's like not trying to be reasonable at all.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of a monster. So it's like, that's not really a choice either.
I mean, the good news is the outcome is exactly the same. You kill the head of both organizations.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? We couldn't decide on an ending, so whatever. If you're interested, if that sort of relationship thing intrigued you, you should romance Solus in Inquisition.
Solus, okay.
Yeah. Also, if you play Inquisition, make sure you do all the DLC. Especially Trespasser. The game does not end properly. I finished Inquisition a while ago, and it is crazy how good the Trespasser DLC is at ending the game, and how bad the base game is at ending its game.
Yeah, because there are DLCs for the first two games that I did not play, because I was like, I'm not trying to do all that.
You got to at least do... although Trespasser is really high level. It's not that high level, actually. Whatever. Just do Trespasser at least, even if you have to crank the difficulty way down. Just do it. It's
gotta cheat.
It's really
just
really
turn
good.
on invulnerability mode.
Yeah, hand the controller over to Caleb and watch him do it.
Yeah.
And that is my advice to you: is make sure you do that because the game does not end properly.
Interesting. And then from everything we hear, Veilguard is just a direct sequel to Inquisition. So I am looking forward to finishing that. Inquisition's only like the longest one of the three, though, so it's fine.
It is, in fact. It is. It's a very long one. I played it again. I won't. I know we're already like super late on this podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my playthrough. Just make sure you play the DLC. We'll talk about it when you have played more of it.
Great. I think that's about it then. That wraps up the pod.
We did it. Was that as long as it felt? I feel like we went very long.
It's only 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
240.
Long, but not the longest we've ever done.
Really, I had the stream up like 10 minutes before we started, so it's really like 2.5.
That doesn't even count, yeah.
Like,
We also did like 3 intros.
Maybe 40 of those minutes was Dragon Age Inquisition, so,
Yeah, whatever. I like Dragon
Crossing my fingers that Veilguard has hey, if you didn't play Inquisition, here's a video of everything.
Oh, for sure.
I think they've already
bet
said
it
that as
will.
well.
It's been a decade. Like they'll for sure have new onboarding.
I played the multiplayer and it's like, I don't really want to play that game.
Yeah, understandable. I'm very curious to hear what you'll think, Alex.
Yeah. Gonna get into it. Hopefully I'll finish it. I'm gonna end up not finishing it by the time Veilguard comes out and just not getting Veilguard until I'm done with it.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, that's fair.
Yeah. We shall see. All right, guys. I guess we'll catch you in 2 weeks. I think Aaron will actually be back on the pod.
What?
So,
Wow.
I think. I don't think he's out.
I thought he just quit the podcast.
Halloween
Yeah.
miracle.
I have a replacement waiting in the wings.
It will be on Halloween.
Oh, spooky.
Hopefully everybody's available that day. Doesn't have like Halloween parties or whatever. All right. See you guys next time.
See you.
Bye.